So glad to have you with us this evening as it's Dan Patch Night from Harrah's Hoosier Park. Our show, America's Day at the Races, brought to you by America's Best Racing. For the love of the race, visit americasbestracing.net today. And this is where America's Day at the Races becomes America's Evening at the Races. Thanks so much for joining us. I'm your host, Acacia Clamanos. We'll be bringing you through some exciting racing action from Harrah's Hoosier Park this evening. As mentioned, Dan Patch Night last year. In the Dan Patch, we saw an unbelievable performance from the very talented Bulldog Hanover, who will add their name to the history books this year. We'll take a look at what's on tap today from Harrah's Hoosier Park, today's races. Take a look. As always, we have races 6 through 13 from Harrah's Hoosier Park. As always, today's race is brought to you by Claiborne Farm Fast Main Track. The highlights, the Tom Dietrich Memorial, Greg Haston Memorial, and that Dan Patch Stakes. And we also have races 3 through 8 for you from Charlestown Fast Main Track there in West Virginia. But I can't do it alone, and I am so happy to have my co-host tonight, harness racing trainer Kevin McDermott. And Kevin, so excited to have the opportunity to share the set with you today.
Agree. It's an absolute pleasure to be with you.
And what are some of the things that we're going to be looking forward to tonight? Why is tonight a big deal?
Well, tonight's the Dan Patch. It's one of the big races at Hoosier Park. Hoosier Park puts on a phenomenal show out there, and this is a big, big night for them. So it's going to be an interesting night of racing.
Looking forward to it. A lot of exciting big stars, big names on the program. If you've watched any of our harness racing shows throughout, you might recognize a few as well. So we'll take a look at the first live race that'll kick off tonight's program. Race 6 from Hoosier Park. It's a 1 mile pace. Here's a look at the field. And Kevin, a pretty wide open board at the moment.
Yeah, it's a bunch of horses. It's a series, so the same horses come back this week that raced last week. So it should be formful. Most of the horses that raced good last week should race back good this week. That's the way I look at it.
All right, we'll get some boots on the ground over at Hoosier as well. We'll take a look and welcome in Gabe Pruitt and Emily Gaskin live with us tonight. Hey guys, we're excited for tonight's program.
Well, we're excited to be on with you as well, Acacia. It's one of the biggest nights of the year here annually at Harrah's Hoosier Park. I believe there's a great buzz in the air. The 30th edition. This race began back in the inaugural Hoosier Park season way back in 1994. Here we are 30 years later. Acacia, as you mentioned, Bulldog Hanover took this race just last year. We've seen some of the biggest names in the sport. Always one of the biggest nights here at Hoosier Park.
It really is. You know, we roll out the red carpet. It's Indiana's richest harness race, and it's a race that's become our signature event. It's the race we circle on the calendar each and every year. So as we said, not only is it a great race, we see some of the greatest older pacers in the country right here at Harrah's Hoosier Park, but we've got a lot of great festivities to go along with it, and a great undercard as well. Acacia, you mentioned that earlier, and from top to bottom, it's an action-packed card tonight.
Yeah, it really is a tip-top night, guys. Harrah's Hoosier Park, located about 40 miles northeast of downtown Indianapolis. The weather simply could not be better here tonight. Fast track, fantastic racing action expected all night long.
We're so glad to have you guys with us and look forward to hearing your insights throughout the evening. And you got a chance to learn a little bit about some of the special things we'll have coming up this evening. Horses getting ready to head out for the 6th here. And Kevin, as you mentioned, when we took a look at the field here for this 1 mile pace, you told me you like a little bit of a price in here.
Yeah, I'm going to go with the 5-horse Shakertown. The driver, James McDonald, he's the leading driver in Canada, and horses just go for him. And it's the first time he's been on the horse, and I know this horse. He was an old Tony Alagna horse, and I think he has a very good chance in here. For you being a trainer of harness horses, how important is that relationship with the driver and them knowing the horses and knowing little quirks, little idiosyncrasies? Oh, for sure. And it's a lot easier. Like, I used to have a 60-horse stable, so you got the same driver all the time, and to work with them, you know, it was amazing. And then when you get down to a small stable, you're always looking for, 5th or 6th driver. It's a little tough. So it's top drivers, top trainers, that's usually who wins the races. Well, we'll see if Shakertown at a nice price can get the job done. Do you sit in the sulky as well? Yeah. Me and Flavian Pratt were in the training. I don't go too often. I passed that scene. Well, it seems so fun. You'll learn a little bit more about thoroughbred jockey Flavian Pratt and his connection to harness racing a little bit later on. We'll head over to Charlestown.
horses on the track for race number 3, 6.5 furlongs on the main track. It's a $15,000 claiming race, 3-year-olds and up, which have never won 2 races. Here's a look at the field scratch of the 1, and you have a couple of horses at 2-1. Favorite now to the outside, the number 8, Ice Cold Frosty. Right now, Kevin just missed last time out.
Yeah, he raced really good, and he maintains his jockey, but I'm going to go to a first-time starter here. Jeff Runco has been a trainer at Charlestown for years that does very good for himself, and he's not taking money. I thought he would take money, but my pick's going to be the 4.
Number 4, Timmy in here, taking a drop in class and just a bit of a new face in this spot, 7-1 at the moment. There's a look at your favorite to the outside, Ice Cold Frosty, second off the claim for the Carlos Manila barn, as well as this is a horse that used to show some speed too. And at these kind of races at this level, you try to look through and see how the pace could potentially materialize and see how it'll turn out. And it's a little bit murky in here as to who could really be kind of the confirmed early pace setter.
Yeah, for the record, I thought we were starting the 4th race.
Oh, no worries.
I just handicapped the 4th race.
All good. All good. So here's race 3, a little bit behind as far as the 6th race over at Hoosier. So we'll get you that in a moment. But as mentioned, the number 8, Ice Cold Frosty in this non-winners of 2 claiming race. And coming up next, we have a 2-year-old race for the West Virginia bred. So you got a little teaser. Kevin likes the 4 coming up in the next race, so we'll get a chance to talk about that race in a bit. But back to race number 3, as mentioned, kind of trying to figure out how the pace could potentially materialize. And I think with anything, for you being a trainer of harness horses too, you always wonder how it could set up. And, you know, is that those horses that are going to be in front, are they going to be able to carry that speed, or are they going to potentially come back to the rest of the field?
Right. It all depends the pace and who goes out of there. And I think later on I got a little steam in the Dan Patch how I think the race is going to go, and I'll let you guys know about that later. So.
Looking forward to that as such a big piece of it as well. What were some of the biggest, talking about, you know, the conversations, as we said, with drivers? Do you give instructions as to how you'd like a horse to be ridden as far as wanting to go to the front? Are those some big things that you have conversations about?
I can honestly say I probably raced 30,000 horses. I probably told one driver how to drive.
Really?
I just hand them the lines. When you're using the top guys, they know. If you think a horse tied up during the week or has something wrong, you let them know. But the top guys know what they're doing, and they're pretty good that way.
And for horsemen, too, you're around those horses all the time. You can kind of see what their style might be as far as how they train.
Absolutely. No question about it.
What are some of the things that you look for as to what a horse's running style might be if you're trying to figure it out, maybe if it's a horse that's earlier or just starting out?
When they start out, I want to race everything from the back. I don't want to put nothing on the front end. I want to give them a career ahead of them, not 1 or 2 starts, which I see a lot of horses ruined early. So I kind of like to race them from the back.
Get back over to Charlestown in a moment, but back over to Hoosier. We have race 6 coming up. Kevin likes the 5, Shakertown, at a nice 7-1 price right now. Right to his inside, the 4, Captain Sleaze is currently your favorite at 9-5. Sorry, just got attacked by a bug over here. We knew they were coming. I warned Kevin when we came on the set tonight.
I'm tied up.
The last time, yes, you're covered. Yep. I need a fly swatter out here, guys. Anyway, 9-5 on your favorite. What are your thoughts on this one?
That horse won last week. Very impressive in the first leg of the series. And the trainer, Nelson Willis, he lost his wife 2 weeks ago, so I'd like to give my condolences to Nelson. And
9-5 on your favorite, Captain Sleaze. I'm sure been a very tough week, a tough couple of weeks for the barn. Our thoughts and prayers with them. So we start to head out for this 6th race. Let's go back to Gabe and Emily for some thoughts.
Thanks so much, Acacia. And as we get set for 6th race post time here, it's the Sweet Lou Series final, Emily Gasket. And a Sweet Lou here on Dan Patch night, that rings a bell.
It certainly does. You know, he's one of those horses that just commanded your attention on the track when he was a racehorse. And now he commands your attention off the track as a sire. So, of course, we're going to see a few of his horses in action a little later. He knows stranger to success at Hoosier Park, not only in the Dan Patch game, but he was successful, you know, everywhere he went, obviously. But we have seen so many successes. And great to have a great race named after him here.
Yeah, the Great White Blaze. He was the 2014 Dan Patch champion. This race will be his namesake. But for now, guys, we'll throw it back to you where they're loading it at Charlestown.
I'm just afraid to look. You want me to move? Oh.
Loading in at Charlestown, we'll send it up to track announcer Paul Espinosa for race 3 from West Virginia.
Is Hidden Assassin, owned by Peter Karras. Richard Schrock is the trainer, and Scott Zeron drives. Number 2, Vespa, owned by Douglas Overheiser and Jamie Dumberger-Smith. Herb Miller is the trainer, and Trace Dietrich the driver. 3, Seaside Hanover, the owner Marianne Plano.
Last one in will be Ice Cold Frosty. They're in the gate. And they're off. The Witch is Gone wins the break from the rail. Remy Showtime moves up to challenge him. Leg up is there in third, and then comes Timmy. On the far outside, the gray Ice Cold Frosty tries to work in and save some ground. The back two, Miss You Ajax and Run to Daylight. So they bend into the clubhouse turn. Remy Showtime up to take a narrow lead from the Witch is Gone, who will take back awkwardly there at the rail. A couple of awkward steps, but now trying to hold his position as they bend around that turn. Leg up is parked out 3 wide in that run to the half-mile pole. Ice Cold Frosty was forced to go 4 wide. Timmy saving ground in 5th. Those top 5 covered by just 3.5 lengths. It's another 5 back to Miss You Ajax, and Run to Daylight brings up the tail of the field as they head up the backstretch. Opening quarter in 24 and 1. Remy Showtime and the Witch is Gone continue their duel up top here. Leg up is sent along now from third. Ice Cold Frosty forced to go wide on both turns as they head into the far turn. Timmy continues to save ground. It's half a dozen lengths back to Miss You Ajax and Run to Daylight as they enter that turn. It's still the Witch is Gone and Remy Showtime with 3/16 to go. The Witch is Gone is determined down at the inside of Remy Showtime with a furlong left to go. Leg up continues to be sent along from third, and then Timmy, they're inside the final furlong. Remy Showtime trying to get past the Witch is Gone, and he's in front now by a neck, and it's Remy Showtime edging away. Remy Showtime on to win it by 3 parts of a length. The Witch is Gone settles for second, and then came Leg Up with Miss You Ajax.
In race 3 at Charlestown, it was the number 3 Remy Showtime and the 2 The Witch is Gone, putting on a little bit of a show in the stretch. Remy Showtime, who was 9 to 5 on the morning line, gets the job done. Big, nice performance from the top 2 there. Remy Showtime with the victory in the 3rd at Charlestown. Back over to Harris Hoosier Park as horses are on the track for the 6th race. As mentioned, Captain Sleaze 3-2. Meeting the field, Kevin, if you want to give a comment on each horse here. Looks like they're going pretty quickly, though. We saw Hidden Assassin go by Vespa. The number 3 is Seaside Hanover.
Yeah, he looks like he's in a little tough here tonight.
Next will be your favorite, Captain Sleaze.
Definitely the horse to beat. I'm just looking for value with the 5-horse Shakertown.
Winner last time out right here. Next will be your top pick, the 5 Shakertown.
Yeah, he was a nice 3-year-old. I know a little bit about him, and I think James is really going to help this horse tonight.
Good price at 10 to 1. Here's the 6 Dancin' Lance.
He won the other division of this series last week, and he definitely has a very good chance tonight, too.
He's a juicy price at the moment, too. Here's the 7 RJ Rocks.
Yeah, I think this horse is in a little too tough tonight. I think the outside post is going to be a little tough.
Big price on the 8 Keep Score.
Same thing. He tried the series last week and stopped a little bit late, so it's a tough race for him.
Here's the 9 Gray Dragon. Well named. Pretty gray.
Yeah, this horse actually comes from a top outfit out there, and I'd give him a chance for sure.
Just Kidding Katie is next.
That horse has the 10 holes, so they start from the 2nd tier. So that horse will start behind the 1 horse, so that horse has a chance to get into the race.
And here's the 11 Double Up N.
The same thing, he gets to start from the 2nd tier, and he'll be following the 2 horse out of there.
When you have horses starting from the 2nd tier, for those not familiar, so the first 9 will line up, and then behind them will be the 10 and 11. Or is that ever a concern for you when you have to go from the 2nd tier?
Yeah, it really hurts a horse. I always believe that you're in a big race, you should be on the gate. It's the way that you should be able to race. And just so people know, Hoosier Park is a 7/8 mile track, but the turns are really tight. The turns are the equivalent of a half mile, and then both straightaways are a complete quarter of a mile. So you can win from any post on at Hoosier. They can come from anywhere.
Great insight for sure. Getting ready for the 6th race, our first live at Hoosier. Let's go back to Gabe and Emily.
All right, thanks so much, Acacia, as we are getting set up for post time here. Able to talk to us about that. Kevin just mentioned the track circumference here. Talk to us about Hoosier Park, one of the longest stretches. It seems like it lasts forever here at Hoosier Park.
Yeah, especially if your horse is on the front, right? To kick off your pick four ticket if your horse is on the front, it's the longest stretch. No, it is the longest stretch in harness racing, and it looks long. It is long. So it's a tough track to adapt to for sometimes horses for their first time, particularly those horses coming from smaller tracks like a 5/8 or something of the sorts. It can sometimes be tough to navigate. So I like to see a horse that's had some success over the Hoosier Park surface. Obviously, horses shipping in from Woodbine, Mohawk Park, some of those other big tracks. They've got plenty of success racing on those big tracks, but it is certainly one of those. It's an acquired taste.
Yeah, there's no question, but some horses really excel here. The Sweet Lou, the namesake here, Sweet Lou, the all-age track record holder. We know in the sport of harness racing, at least 99% of the time, all races conducted that 1 mile distance. Sweet Lou took that 146-2 all-age track record way back in 2014 in winning the Dan Patch Stakes, and it still stands here today.
Yeah, it's just one of those miles you'll never forget, Gabe, especially for me. It was one of the Dan Patch events that, like I said, just stands out in memory. And, just, again, one of those performances on a night that you won't forget. And, tonight is shaping up much the same. We've seen a lot of great performances so far, and we're really just getting into the thick of things here.
Yeah, we really are. The buzz in the air here, great on-track crowd, great weather. Let's get to the business at hand. Able to ask you, because I know you've got a top selection here, the current favorite, Captain Sleaze, and he comes off a convincing win right here at the same level. He comes back, he draws a perfect post here tonight. He's getting the majority of the tote action there on the board right now at 7-5.
Yeah, and for the exact reasons we just talked about, I waited off this horse, sat off of him for a few starts because he was coming from that smaller track of Yonkers. He qualified a little bit, and I gave him a start or two, and then last week, his third start at Hoosier Park, he routed off a 150, 2 1/4 length victory. Very convincing victory, in my opinion. He draws to the inside here. I think you'll be expecting a much the same trip. Just like Kevin was talking about, he faced these horses last week, and he proved that he could handle them rather convincingly. I see no reason why he can't repeat, even at a short price. I think he is the one to beat.
Yeah, that is a big difference as well to some folks out there maybe familiar with the thoroughbred side. The harness horses really come back week in and week out. You're looking at horses that will start 30, 40 times at a single season.
Yeah, exactly, Gabe. And, this horse really just getting rolling for the season. He's got 11 starts on the season, and it comes right back after last week. And like I said, I think, that was a lifetime best performance, equaled his lifetime best. Safe to say that, he's firing on all cylinders right now.
All right, he's 6-5. How about one up there that's a little bit of an overlay, baby? We'd be remiss if we didn't talk about Trace Dietrich, 36 years old. Hard to imagine he has been the leading driver here at Hoosier Park for 10 consecutive seasons, dating back until all the way when he was 26 years old. He's on top of the driver standings here again this year. He's got number 2 Vespa here, who was a good, solid third last out. Draws a nice post here. Post who being overlooked here at 7-1.
Yeah, absolutely. Anytime you can get Trace Dietrich at a price, it is a must-pay attention situation. He's here for Irv Miller, who's one of our top conditioners as well, batting a 381 on the season. So you've got high percentage connections here.
All right, guys, that's a look at the 6th race. The Sweet Lou, $20,000 on the line. We'll send it upstairs where track announcer Mike Chamberlain has the call.
6-5 on Captain Sleaze. 5-1 double up. They are up. And a good beginning for Captain Sleaze. Shakertown up quickly too. Dancin' Lance, and then it's Vespa. Next is Gray Dragon. To the inside is Just Kidding Katie. Double Up is next, followed by Seaside Hanover. Hidden Assassin to the inside with RJ Rocks. And the early trailer is Keep Score. The 11 move on to the opening quarter in 26-4. And they're moving on to the back stretch now. And the leader is Dancin' Lance. Dancin' Lance by a length. Second is Shakertown with Captain Sleaze now moving to the outside. Here comes Captain Sleaze up from third, taking second and going up to challenge the leader. Racing fourth is Vespa, Gray Dragon after that. Then it's Just Kidding Katie with Double Up flanking that one. A length and a half to Seaside Hanover. Down on the inside comes Hidden Assassin. Then it's RJ Rocks, and Keep Score continues to trail. Half mile, 54-4, second quarter, 28 seconds. On to the far turn they go. The even money favorite, Captain Sleaze, has the lead. Danson Lance is second with Vespa up on the outside. Shakertown next. Then fifth is Gray Dragon. After that, Just Kidding Katie and Double Up with Seaside Hanover parked to the outside of Hidden Assassin. RJ Rocks and Keep Score. 3/4, 122 and 3. They're into the stretch. Captain Sleaze is the leader by 2.5. Danson Lance is second. Vespa on the outside. Trying to come through to the inside is Shakertown. Far outside trying to move up is Gray Dragon. Captain Sleaze in front inside the final 1/8 of a mile. Shakertown trying to rally up the inside. And then Danson Lance is third. It's Captain Sleaze. Captain Sleaze is the winner. Photo for second with Shakertown and Danson Lance. Then also tight between Gray Dragon and Just Kidding Katie, 150 and 1.
Captain Sleaze gets the job done as the favorite delivering here. And Kevin, hats off to you. Your horse, Shakertown, that you liked, was right in there in the photo for second.
Yeah, I believe he held on for second. He raced good. The 4 horse is just a better horse than the field, and Nelson Wilson does a phenomenal job out there, so happy for him.
You were talking to me through the running of the race, pointing out the tight turns that we and Gabe and Emily had discussed as well, and how you want to be able to save ground there at Hoosier. Yeah,
like I was talking to Timmy Tetrick yesterday, and I asked him about the Hoosier track, and he said you want to be around on the inside around the far turn to save ground. You don't want to be on the outside, and you got a 1/4 mile sprint home. So the best case scenario is to sit the inside and hope for the best in this stretch.
And that's exactly what happened with the 4 Captain Sleaze, getting a good trip, able to save some ground, and making another victory here at Hoosier. Let's go back to Gabe and Emily.
Yeah, Emily, this one played out maybe about as we expected. The favorite, Captain Sleaze, power to the top there across the backstretch. Just proved to be a little too much for this group.
Yeah, exactly. Like Kevin said, he's just much the best horse. And Mike Oosting drove him like he was the best horse. And, that's what you want to see. Like we talked about, short price. But the horse showed last week after a few Hoosier Park starts. He'd been acclimated to the surface, and he came back and showed exactly what we thought he would.
All right, guys, the first race here on a big night at Harrah's Hoosier Park plays to form. The even money favorite gets it done. Plenty of fireworks to come here on one of their biggest nights of the year.
Looking forward to it, guys. It's going to be a lot of fun. We'll see if that's the shape of things to come later on today, if the favorites will continue to reign supreme or if we'll see some big prices down the line. Right now, though, it's the favorite, the 4 Captain Sleaze, with the win in race 6 from Hoosier Park. Bring you prices, reactions, and a lot more. And as mentioned, you'll learn a little bit about thoroughbred jockey Flavian Pratt and his connection to harness racing.
Ever dream of owning your own racehorse? How would you like to get in the winner's circle with the #1 harness racing partnership in the U.S., VIP Stable? There's nothing like the thrill of your horse coming down the stretch. To find out more, call VIP Stable at 877-VIP-WIN1 or visit us on the web at www.vipstable.com. Turning horse racing fans into racehorse owners. Be a winner.
Welcome back to America's Day at the Races, brought to you by Naira Bets. You can bet any track, anywhere, anytime. In the 6th at Hoosier Park, it was your favorite captain, Sleaze, getting the job done. $4. Kevin's top selection at 11-1, Shakertown, checking in second. Nice pick.
Not bad, not bad.
A good way to start it to make your America's Day at the Races debut. But the favorite gets the win, and we'll head over to Gabe with winning trainer.
Thanks so much, Acacia. I'm happy to be standing by here with the owner and breeder, Marty Engel of Captain Sleaze. And I know it's nice to win any race, Marty, but it's even more special when you breed one.
No question about it. I've bred quite a few horses, and the thrill is it's like seeing your own son with a hit a home run in the 9th inning of a close baseball game. It's exciting.
And this guy's been special for you guys throughout. This is 12th win tonight. About over $230,000. He's really been a handy racehorse.
He was a great 2-year-old, a nice 3-year-old, and just hit a few bumps in the way. And I brought him here. It's a little bit easier racing than out east, where it's so. The depth of the quality of horses is tremendous out east. So I figured I'd come back here. It might be a little bit easier, at least at the beginning. And I gave him to Nelson Willis, who I've used for many, many years. He's a top-notch, honest trainer, and the things have worked out well so far.
Yeah, I don't.
And especially with Mike Osting as part of the package.
And no race is ever easy, but things played about as you expected tonight. He's in a spot where he's the favorite. Mike rolled him to the top, and you really didn't have to take any anxious moments through the stretch.
No, it was one of the more calmer races, although you still never know. Till they hit the finish line, you don't know what's going to happen.
You aren't kidding about that, my friend. Congratulations. Marty Engel, the owner and breeder. Captain Sleaze, guys, a favorite, takes a 6th.
Gabe, thank you. Special night for him, owner and breeder. Always makes it a little bit more sweet. Over at Charlestown, we have race 4 coming up next. There's that 2-year-old race we promised you. It'll be for the West Virginia breds, going 4.5 furlongs on the main track. Quite a few first-time starters, and always an adventure with the 2-year-olds and the young horses. Kevin, there's a lot of learning to go on.
Absolutely. You just don't know what to expect their first start. And I think I just realized is my pick scratched?
Yes, unfortunately so.
Unbelievable.
Unfortunately, all that build up. So one scratch of the number 4, Yachtsman, that son of English Channel. So unfortunately, we'll not see him. The favorite is Grandy to the inside. This one does have a little bit of pedigree on the bottom side too. The dam was a decent dirt sprinter, and she did produce a stakes winner called Seneca Rocks, who was a 6-time dirt sprinter too. Looks like there is a very green 2-year-old in the paddock. I think that was the 8 that they were saddling in the middle there that was acting up a bit. Yeah, there he is.
Yeah.
Giving them a little bit of a tough time. Like I said, it's always an adventure with the 2-year-olds. We'll talk a bit more about this 4th race from Charlestown after this. Stay with us and take a quick time out on America's Day at the Races.
DeMarchelier offers breeders a rare opportunity as the only son of Dubawi standing in Kentucky. Dubawi, one of the world's most celebrated stallions, is now a sire of sires. With a picture-perfect pedigree, this son of Dubawi brings one of the world's most potent bloodlines to America. Now his progeny are bringing top dollar in the sales ring. DeMarchelier, standing at Claiborne Farm.
Want to know a secret? The Massachusetts breeding program pays huge bonuses for finishing 1st, 2nd, or 3rd at any racetrack in the country. You didn't know that, did you? Massbreds get paid up to an additional 25% of their purse earnings for the owner, and breeder, and stallion owner, and developer. It's the best kept secret in racing, till now. Tell all your friends, and to learn more, visit massbreds.com.
Canterbury Park's BCBC Handicapping Contest is September 13th. $1,000 entry fee and $1,000 live bankroll. Play on expressbet.com or at the park. Win your way to the Breeders' Cup Betting Challenge or the National Horse Players Championship in Canterbury Park's BCBC NHC Qualifier Contest on Wednesday, September 13th. Powered by ExpressBet.
Fasig-Tipton New York bred yearlings. Selected on pedigree and conformation, this sale offers New York's finest. Recent graduates include graded stakes winners Robin Sparkles and Therapist.
It's Therapist who's up by a length and a half. Therapist wins the United Nations Stakes.
In 2023, over $60 million will be distributed in purse money, incentives, and awards for New York breds. Fasig-Tipton New York bred yearlings, August 13th and 14th in Saratoga Springs, New York. Where will you be?
We're back on America's Day at the Races. So glad to have you with us as we're covering live racing action for you from Hoosier Park and Charlestown this evening. Taking a look at the 7th race from Hoosier coming up next. Here is the Manly Sturgis. Before we get into that, let's go to Emily with a special guest.
Thanks, Acacia. Standing by with Joe Morris, our Senior Vice President of Racing for Caesars Entertainment. And Joe, we've talked a little bit about it. Beautiful night, Dan Patch Day 2023, Dan Patch Night 2023. You joining us, talk to us a little bit about, though, what the Dan Patch means and what a special event this is to Caesars Entertainment.
Dan Patch, of course, coming from Oxford, Indiana, and being one of the most popular sports figures in our world back in the early 1900s. It's our 30th year here, our 30th Dan Patch, and he is Indiana racing here for us.
The Dan Patch, obviously best older pacers in the country, but it's a race that has continued to carry its importance throughout the years. And I know it's important to not only Hoosier Park, but racing as a whole to continue the precedence that the Dan Patch sets.
Dan Patch, this year's race is second to none. I mean, last year we had Bulldog Hanover, which was an event in itself. This year it's a wide open race. We've got Indiana horses, Ohio horses, which we call our locals, and then we have many from the East Coast coming in to try to beat our locals.
You talked about events. We've got quite a few events coming up. I know you have been working very hard on. Talk to us a little bit about, though, what the rest of the season looks like and maybe what you're looking forward to as far as Caesars is concerned.
Well, for here, we have the Trotting Classic coming up, and we'll be back with Fox here for that. We go over to Scioto, where we built a brand new grandstand and have the new Scioto Downs. We have a night there with 18 races, 8 finals, 8 consolations, the Ewart and the Hill. That's going to be a heck of a night. We'll have Fox Sports there with that one. And then you look at the day here today, and you talk about horse racing. We have 156 horses in over 15 races here tonight. So it's pretty special. The tracks are up, and Caesars is happy to be in racing business.
Speaking of special, we've got a special event coming up later in October. Of course, the Breeders' Crown event. Talk to us briefly about what that means.
Third time we've held it here at Hoosier, and proud to have it again. It'll be bigger. Last time it was in COVID, so we'll have a lot more people here, and it is the World Championship event of our sport, so we're excited to be holding it here October 27th and 28th.
October 27th and 28th, a very special event. We want to thank Joe, of course, for joining us and all that he does for racing here at Hoosier Park. Guys, back to you.
Emily, thank you so much, and big thank you to Joe, as we heard Emily talking about some exciting events coming up, and great to see such a strong product over at Hoosier. And as Joe was talking about the response, the handle and last year's Dan Patch Night was so strong. And of course, you had a star like Bulldog Hanover running, but Kevin, it's so important to see that response for the fans as far as the health of the sport.
Absolutely. Bulldog Hanover was the flight line of our sport.
Right.
People just showed up just to see him, and the trainer did a great job promoting that horse and brought him around to other tracks, and he did a really, really good job with that horse.
It's really cool to see horses like that. I got a chance to cover a few of his races on our America's Day at the Races programs, and I think those kinds of horses are important for the game. Like a Flightline, like a Bulldog Hanover. They have a fan club. They have people that follow them. They get people excited, and I saw a lot of people from the thoroughbred world crossing into the harness world, wanting to see what Bulldog Hanover was doing too.
Correct. People that don't even like horse racing, they start following horses like that, and then all of a sudden, from 1,000 people at the track, you got 2,000 or 3,000 people at the track, and it's just great. And it's sad when they get retired because it's hard to replace them.
Was there a horse throughout your career that you felt kind of had that impact on you that you wanted to follow, whether it was one that you trained or not?
Well, the first horse I had was a 7-claimer that it went on to make $500,000.
Wow.
And he was an Amish horse, so it was an amazing story. But my best horse was Hypnotic Blue Chip. He made $2 million. He was the first horse to pace in 47 in the sport, which was super special on Hambletonian Day. And along the way, I had a lot of world champions. I mean, a lot of good horses, but Hypnotic went on to be a sire in Indiana, where Hoosier Park is, and he was definitely special.
That's so great. Those kinds of horses, they leave an imprint on you and really, I guess, change you along the way, too. And that's what the sport is all about, the memories that they make and the journeys that one horse can take all of us on. You have the Manly Sturgis coming up at Hoosier Park for the fillies and mares, a 1-mile pace. Even money on that horse right there. Tails on a roll. Let's go back to Gabe and Emily.
You want me to get back here? Thanks so much, guys. 7th race up next here. This one about to go to the gate, so final moments. Emily, want to get your final thought because you picked that winner of the 6th race. We're back on the favorite here, Tails on a Roll. This for the leading connections. We talked about Trace Dietrich. He's been the 10 consecutive time leading driver here at Hoosier Park. Tyler George, a trader on the 2. He's been the leading trader here at Hoosier Park 3 consecutive seasons. So top connections here, to say the least, on your top choice.
Yeah, and we were talking a little off camera, Gabe. You know, things can get crazy on Dan Patch night, so you try to do and find those crazy angles. But I'll tell you, I just kept going back to Tails on a Roll. I think they're going to have a hard time beating her here. Like you said, high percentage connections. She draws to the inside. To me, it's all systems go for Tails on a Roll.
All right, 6-5 right now up on the board as we draw into here for the 7th race at Harris Hoosier Park. Tails on a Roll. Well, it's the talk of the tote board with this 3-year-old filly right now on the board here. As they get set for the 7th race, we're going to send it back upstairs. Michael Chamberlain has a call once again.
Here they come. They are off. Tails on a Roll started well. Dixie Dream moves up. JK's Lucky Lou right there, too. Then Plan to Tell and Madison's Angel. Kasagi has gotten an aggressive beginning, moving right up from the 2nd tier and is all the way up into 3rd as the field moves on to the 1st turn. And moving on that turn, the leader is Dixie Dream, but Kasagi is right there and is now moving up to challenge that leader as they pass the quarter in 27-2. Kasagi goes on to take the lead. Dixie Dream back to 2nd. JK's Lucky Lou is 3rd. Then it's Tells on a Roll, who is racing 4th. Next comes Plan to Tell with Beat Made for Dancin', parked on the outside. Madison's Angel inside that. Like It Like That is wide as well. Next is Moment's Truth and Hot Shot Betsy. And the trailer is Best of You. Half on the board in 55-4. The 2nd quarter was 28-2. And they're moving on to the far turn. Kasagi is the leader, but Tells on a Roll looms on the outside now. And Trace Dietrich is sending that one up to challenge Kasagi, who still holds on to the lead by a length. Dixie Dream at the inside 3rd. 2 back to JK's Lucky Lou. Then on the outside is Feet Made for Dancin'. Head of the stretch, headed for home. 3/4, 1:23. Kasagi is the leader off the turn. Tells on a Roll on the outside. Dixie Dream to the inside. JK's Lucky Lou is 4th and now shifts to the outside to get a clear shot at the leaders. Kasagi is the leader by the 8th pole. Tells on a Roll on the outside. Dixie Dream. JK's Lucky Lou is closing nicely. It's Dixie Dream surging on the inside. Kasagi was too good tonight. Dixie Dream 2nd. Then JK's Lucky Lou and Plan to Tell 150-3.
Kasagi with the win, and this one from the 2nd tier. Kevin, I know you had liked this horse as well. David Miller picking up the drive here.
You didn't let me make my selection.
I'm sorry, I was a bad judge of time here.
These East Coast drivers, when they come to town, they just pick horses up. They're great drivers, and that David went, from Sam Widger, who's a good driver too. Don't get me wrong, but David Miller first time is excellent choices.
The other day on our Saratoga Live show, we were talking about nicknames of drivers and how more of the jockeys should do it too. And I said, yeah, my personal favorite is David Miller. It's my Purple Jesus.
Purple Jesus is the best. You'll never meet a nicer guy in your life, and that's a perfect name for him.
I love it. Kasagi with the victory. Gabe and Emily coming from that 2nd tier.
Thanks so much, Acacia. And as you said, what a better nickname they're able to. Purple Jesus. He shows up here on the big night. He'll have a drive of the big race a bit later. Lewis Pearlman, 6-1 shot in that damn patch coming up in race 13. But for now, he gets the job done here. Nice drive aboard Kasagi to score on the front end.
Yeah, and worth noting, post position number 11. I know that's been a big talk as far as the second tier is concerned. But like you said, made no bones about it, went straight to the front, and she did what she was supposed to do. New lifetime best for this 3-year-old filly.
Yeah, and sometimes, guys, it's known for a night of upsets here. Dan Patch night at Hoosier Park. We've seen a couple of races in a row where the favorites got into the lead, stepped up, and delivered the goods. We'll see if that trend continues here on one of the biggest nights.
It's going well so far. Gabe and Emily Kasagi getting the victory here. David Miller driving and picking up the call there with a victory. Back over at Charlestown, race 4 with the 2-year-olds as promised. I know the first-time starter you had some interest in, Kevin, out, and you do see now favoritism going to actually one with experience, the 2 Soul Catcher, which makes sense for young horses that have a race under their belt. This one was second on debut after a poor start.
Yeah, it's the same trainer of the 4 who was scratched, Jeff Runco. He's been a top guy out there for years, and he's got the top jockey, so I could see a second start off. Second lifetime start the horse would pick up.
Looks a little reluctant to load into the gate, too. And a horse that has to load early, that's not exactly an easy scenario. And with 2-year-olds, and especially one that broke slowly on debut, you don't love to see that.
I have to agree with you 100%.
And the guys at the starting gate just do such a terrific job, and they know horses that have quirks. And for first-time starters, they have to work out of the gate in the mornings to get their gate card to be allowed to enter. That doesn't mean, though, that they won't still be a little bit nervous come the afternoon and it's time to race. Anything can happen.
Yeah, in the afternoon, it's a lot different than the morning time.
All about training. We'll see how that training comes into play. Quite a few first-time starters. West Virginia bred 2-year-old race coming up here in the 4th. Let's go to Paul Espinosa.
Why So Quiet? And the last one to load will be Racing Hotline. But the outside post goes in. They're in the gate. And they're off. And once again, Soul Catcher was slow to begin, off last, and now has moved up a couple of spots. But in the meantime, Take Your Time has taken the lead. Grandy from the Rail is also rushing up right there, too. Christopher's Heart and Why So Quiet in the thick of things. And Candy for Juba is back in 5th. Those top 5 tightly bunched 2 lengths would cover them. It's another 5 back to Alexander Grady. And then Soul Catcher's on the move to his inside. On the outside, Racing Hotline. Then 5 more with the trailing duo of Greatest Notion and Direct Proof. They bend into the far turn. Opening quarter in 22 and 2. And up top, it's Grandy who's come away with the lead. Why So Quiet moves up to his outside now to challenge just outside the 8th pole. Take Your Time. Christopher's Heart, and then Soul Catcher's trying to weave his way through the pack. Why So Quiet up to take the lead from Grandy as they come down to the 16th pole. Grandy battles on. Why So Quiet and Grandy 1-2 down to the finish. Grandy is determined and comes back to turn away. Why So Quiet? Grandy got the job done. Why So Quiet? Christopher's Heart and Take Your Time.
It was a first-time starter. After all, the number 1, Grandy, the horse, Kevin, that was taking the early money and had that good dirt sprint pedigree on the bottom side. This 2-year-old was very game.
Very good pick, Alicia.
Acacia. That's okay. You know what? It's late.
I know your name.
You got your notes. Don't worry about it.
My attitude didn't break good. You know, it's just been a bad race there all in general. But the horse race, very good.
Number 1, Grandy getting the victory. And as you said, Soul Catcher, we talked about, broke slowly in that debut, reluctant going into the gate, and broke slowly again when you're going 4.5 furlongs A. And with 2-year-olds, that just really puts you behind the 8 ball if you don't get out of the gate well.
Yeah, and as you said, when he wasn't going into the gate, he was probably going to balk again tonight, and he did, and he got away last. So they probably got to work on him a little bit for the gate.
But the number 1, Grandy inside, very game. A 2-year-old son of Tail of the Cat gets a victory for Javier Contreras. Wesley Ho, the rider there in race 4 at Charlestown. Back over at Hoosier, talked about the Purple Jesus, David Miller, and picking up the drive, and it all turned out to be a successful formula. Kasagi getting the victory in the 7th. He went off at 8-5, $5.40 winner here. Let's go to Gabe with special guest.
$234, 14 cents.
$2 exactor, $29.60.
Second tier, not only second tier, you get a couple of second tier there.
Apologies for the technical difficulties. Hopefully we will have an opportunity to hear from driver David Miller soon with Gabe but Kasagi getting the victory. And, you know, for those who maybe watch Saratoga Live and watch thoroughbred racing with us daily, Kevin, you were talking to me about these East Coast drivers shipping in. So if you see a guy like Irad Ortiz going to Mountaineer, to Charlestown for some big race there, you're going to often take another look at the horses that he's on. It's the same with a guy like David Miller in a situation here.
Yeah, the guys in Indiana are very good. Don't take me wrong when I say that. But the top 10 guys out east, they do it for a living. They're so good at it. They're relaxed. They're always in the right spot. And believe me, on big nights like this, I've seen it forever. They come in, they pick up mounts, and they always do good.
Take two. Let's go to Gabe with David Miller.
All right, thanks, guys. Standing by here with winning driver Dave Miller. And Dave, take us through this trip. Post 11, second tier. Not only second tier, you had a couple of the second tier there. I guess the game plan worked out. You ended up on the lead eventually.
Yeah, you know, like leaving out of there, I was just kind of waiting to see what happened. The 2 and 3 didn't really leave that well, and it seemed like everybody from the outside was going. So I got away bad, but I moved her, and she actually worked her way to the lead, and she was pretty comfortable and pretty strong.
You had to stave off a little pressure in the late stages, both inside and outside. Long way home here at Hoosier Park. Were you confident you could last?
Yeah, she come off the turn like she was still just kind of going along easy, and I started getting her wound up through the stretch, and when we got to the passing lane, I pulled her plugs, and she was good enough to hold on.
And I know you always enjoy being here at Hoosier Park when you can on some of the bigger nights. You got Luz Pearlman to the big dance tonight. What do you think about his chances? He draws a perfect mid-pack post there, post 4 at the big dance, race 13, the Dan Patch later.
Yeah, you know what? He raced very well his last start in the Houghton, and I'm excited about him. You know, I think it's going to work out good for us. You know, he should be able to get away and follow some good horses, and if he races like he did there, he might be able to pick up.
You know, one thing about Hoosier Park, you got plenty of room here in this stretch to close.
Yeah.
And I don't want to put any added pressure on you, Dave, but Acacia just said in studio going to the post that race. Purple Jesus, by the way, is her favorite nickname in horse racing.
Yeah. It's a good one. It's for sure.
Well, one that you live up to on a nightly basis. That's Dave Miller, guys. We'll have Luz Pearlman at the Dan Patch a little later on.
I love it. Gabe, thank you so much. And congratulations to David Miller with the win there in race 7. Our coverage here of Harrah's Hoosier Park brought to you by the Standardbred Breeders Association of Pennsylvania. We'll take a quick time out. We'll have more live racing action for you coming up next on America's Day at the Races.
On a perfect day, there is no finer place in all of sports.
Nerves, excitement, and anticipation.
Than beautiful, truly stunning. For the Breeders' Cup World Championships.
Welcome back to America's Day at the Races. Call to post at Harris Hoosier Park. Race number 8, 1 mile pace coming up next. The Myron McHenry, as we have the field coming up, and we'll meet them. Starting things off, Kevin, with the number 1, Blacklist C-Tam.
This is another one of those series, and he looks like he's in a little bit too tough tonight. He hasn't really been competitive in this class.
Big price right now. Here's a bit of a Tiger.
He's the morning line favorite. I think he's going to get overbet. He's not really a horse that likes to win a lot, so I would try to go somewhere else.
The current favorite is Odds On Alpha Male.
First time Charlie Stewart barn. He does really, really good off the claim, and the board's showing that right now. He's 8-5.
Always a warrior. Big price.
Hector Herrera's horse, another one that's just a little bit too tough tonight.
There's the 5, Rolling with the Ponies with 3 Z's.
He goes first time for Charlie Stewart again tonight, and that's the trainer has 2 in the same race. So the 3 and 5 are 2 very live horses.
Magnificent Mark, 6-1.
He's not taking money. He was 3-1 right now, but he's definitely a figure horse in this race.
Here's Movie Star trying to turn things around.
At a price, he's first time Scotty 0 on, and Scotty picks up every horse he sits behind.
A Bettor's Risk, big price.
Yeah, just another one, just a little bit overclassed in this race, and probably look for a piece.
Major Bucks taking some attention from that 8-1 morning line.
Yeah, that horse has been racing very good. He's got speed, he's got gate speed, and he could probably cross over there, leaving out of there from the outside.
Second tier, here's Fox Valley Carlin.
Kyle Eusted's horse, another one, just looks like he's a little bit too tough in here.
Does pick up David Miller. There's Rock Jagger. I like that name.
That horse has a chance. He's starting from the second tier. He seems to be there every week. He could probably be in the superfecta for sure.
The big price as well, 23-1. Let's check in with Gabe and Emily.
Thanks so much, Acacia. And this is the Myron McHenry, guys. If you're wondering who Myron McHenry is, I was as well. It's the great-grandsire of Dan Patch. Of course, Dan Patch, the namesake for tonight's big race, really the first cool horse ever in the sport of horse racing way back 100 years ago at this point. But, yeah, it's great-grandsire here, the namesake of race 8.
Yeah, we're a sucker for a good theme. And Dan Patch, that's kind of the theme of the day, and so we're going to continue it. We've got quite a few races named after, connections, the trainers, things like that, all throughout the evening.
No, this is an interesting race because these horses have recently been in for claiming tag, meaning they could be claimed for, whatever amount they're put in for. This class, $15,000. You've got Bit of a Tiger from Post 2, was claimed 2 starts back. This is just his second start for a new trainer and new owner. The same thing with the 3 odds on Alpha Male. So it's rare to see a couple of the favorites here. They're really new items for the new connections.
Yeah, like you said, I don't oftentimes see that. But like I said, with these claiming series, they jump in, and these finals are going for a purse of $20,000. So a nice prize on the line for these $15,000 claimers. And, I like you. I was a little surprised to see odds on Alpha Male getting slight favoritism right now. Obviously, again, high percentage connections here. But, this is a tough field to go postward. And we're going to have 11 set to contend here. 2 trailing starters, which are sure to mix things up as well.
Yeah, and really a change of styles, guys. Here are the 2 favorites. The 3 odds on Alpha Male, 6-5. Able to really his early speed, typically his weapon of choice. He tried the lead in his debut for that new barn last out. He got collared very late. He finished well. He was second, only beating a length. He comes back tonight, 6-5 on the board. You'd have to think he is going to be marching off the ways.
Yeah, and like we talked about earlier, Gabe, these horses, shipped in from Scioto Downs, took him a few starts. Obviously, a drop in class helped as well. But it did take him a few starts to get acclimated to that long quarter-mile stretch here at Hoosier Park. And he started stepping off the car and started responding. So I, like you, would not be surprised. I'd have to believe that that's what the strategy is going to be here tonight. There's a few horses, though, to the outside that I think are interesting that could mix things up. You got Scott Zeron. These guys, they come in, they pick up live mounts, just like we saw Dave Miller in that last race. Like Kevin talked about, they jump on some live horses, and they're not scared to push one out of there.
Yeah, they're here one night and one night only most of the time. So it is all cylinders on go typically. Scotty Z, of course, comes off that $1 million Hamiltonian win last weekend at the Meadowlands. He has the assignment here on the 7 Movie Star up there at 16-1. The second choice, Bit of a Tiger, typically an off-the-pace type. We'll see where he gets away there. He's got post number 2, guys. It's going to be a good one here. It is the Myron McHenry with an overflow field of 11. They're lined up. Michael Chamberlain has the call.
Here they come. They are all. Good beginning for Magnificent Mark in the center. Odds on Alpha Male second, and then Bit of a Tiger third, with Blacklist Z-Tam next. Then it's Rollin' with the Ponies. Up on the outside is Major Bucks, followed by Fox Valley Carlin and Rock Jagger. And then at the back end of the field comes Always a Warrior ninth. Movie Star started a little gingerly in his 10th. And the trailer is A Better's Risk. Opening quarter 27-4, and they're now on the back stretch. And moving up to take the lead is Odds on Alpha Male. Odds on Alpha Male in front to the outside of Magnificent Mark. 2.5 lengths back to Bit of a Tiger with Blacklist Z-Tam in the clear fourth. Next comes Rollin' with the Ponies. Major Bucks is right in mid-pack. Then it's Fox Valley Carlin. Rock Jagger is up on the outside of Always a Warrior, who's trying to make progress at the pylons. The last two, A Better's Risk and Movie Star. Half mile, 56 seconds. On to the far turn. Odds on Alpha Male in front, 1.5 lengths. Magnificent Mark second by a similar margin. Bit of a Tiger third. Blacklist Z-Tam fourth. Then on the outside, it's Rollin' with the Ponies. Next comes Major Bucks to the outside of Always a Warrior as they pass 3/4 in 1:24. 28-second third quarter, Odds on Alpha Male, 3 lengths in front. Bit of a Tiger second, then Magnificent Mark. Blacklist Z-Tam to the inside of Rollin' with the Ponies. Odds on Alpha Male, the lead still 2.5. Bit of a Tiger trying to close in second. Blacklist Z-Tam to the outside of Magnificent Mark. It's Odds on Alpha Male, Bit of a Tiger, Blacklist Z-Tam, both trying to close in. Odds on Alpha Male wins. It's a photo for second with Bit of a Tiger and Blacklist Z-Tam. Rollin' with the Ponies fourth in 1:51-4.
Odds on Alpha Male, he took all of that money, and turns out, Kevin, it was rightfully so, getting the win and holding on today.
Yeah, this horse race is really good tonight. So far, it looks like Speed's holding on over there at Hoosier. Where they get away, it looks like they're finishing, so maybe that's something to keep an eye on the rest of the night.
Bit of a Tiger made a run at him, not able to catch him, but gets a second place finish here. But Gabe and Emily, Odds on Alpha Male, we discussed all of the money that he was taking, and turns out they knew.
Yeah, thanks, Acacia. And Emily, we talk about the contrasting styles between the two favorites. Odds on Alpha Male, the front-running type. Bit of a Tiger likes to close in. But Odds on Alpha Male, as we know, pace makes the race. The fractions really went his way. 27-4, 56 flat. At that time, he was going to be a very tough horse to catch.
Yeah, leisurely stroll there down the backside. And like you said, this is a tough group. And so to make up that kind of ground, going down the long stretch, it's hard to do for anyone, let alone a tough group of claimers here. So Odds on Alpha Male, like you said, when he got to the front, and it was over after that.
Yeah, Bit of a Tiger, good valiant effort to be the runner-up.
Yeah, very much so. He drew to the inside and was able to save some ground there. Have to believe that, that his connections had to be happy with that effort.
All right, guys, that's the third consecutive front runner, as Kevin just mentioned. We'll see if that continues to play out here as some sort of track bias as the big night continues here at Hoosier Park.
Yeah, good handicapping angle. If so, Gabe, we'll see if the speed continues to be dominant over at Hoosier. Odds on Alpha Male with the victory in the 8th race. Bring you prices, reactions, and more after this quick timeout. Stay with us on America's Day at the Races.
Harness Racing's World Championship event, valued at $7 million, returns to Harrah's Hoosier Park Racing and Casino for 2 extraordinary nights of racing. Join us Friday, October 27th and Saturday, October 28th, 2023 for the 40th edition of the Breeders' Crown. In harness racing, it all comes down to the crown.
Experience the adrenaline-pumping, suspense-filled action of the Sport of Kings no matter where you are with Naira Bets. It's fast, easy, and secure. Download the app today and start winning with our lucrative weekly promotions, thrilling handicapping contests, and a one-of-a-kind VIP rewards program. Don't just watch horse racing, be a part of the action with Naira Bets.
Just minutes from downtown Saratoga Springs, you'll find GMP Farm, a utopia of healing for equines and humans, offering revolutionary, customized equine care using state-of-the-art imaging and therapeutic technologies for horses of all disciplines. Immerse yourself in tranquility in our sacred spa, offering specialized spa treatments and holistic therapies to refresh and rejuvenate among tranquil mountain views. Start your journey to wellness. Visit gmpfarm.net and sacredspaandwellness.com to schedule a treatment today.
Racetrack Television Network brings you every race, from every track, on every screen, every day. With monthly packages starting as low as $5, RTN gives you great value and access to more live HD streaming and race replays than anyone. Visit RTN.tv today to sign up and watch on almost any device, including Roku and Amazon Fire. RTN has packages that start at $5 per month.
We're back on America's Day at the races. In the 8th race at Hoosier Park, it was odds-on Alpha Male with the victory in front-running fashion. Yet another forwardly placed winner, Kevin, to get the victory.
Yeah, he raced really good, this horse, and John DeLong drove him. He's a very good driver out there, and happy for the connections.
Winning driver John DeLong standing by with Gabe.
Thanks so much, Acacia. And John, talk to us about this mile tonight. You made the lead there, an aggressive move back at the top. Fractions really played in your hands.
Yeah, he just needed to get a little breather and then get away in the last turn and just try to hold him off finishing.
It was nice to get the jump of the horse to beat in there.
Yeah, absolutely.
And talk to us about this track tonight. We've seen 3 consecutive races here on the FS2 broadcast where the winners have been on the front end. Do you think there's any type of bias here tonight? What's your opinion on that?
Yeah, we've got a pretty good breeze in the stretch, and the track's tight. It's fast. We're going to go a big mile later.
And speaking of that big mile later and that potential bias, you've got Little Rocket, man, 7-2 in the morning line, post 8 tonight. He's the fan favorite. He's a Hoosier Park's horse. 40 of his 49 career wins here. I know it's always special to get behind him each and every time.
Yeah, it'd be nice to get win number 50 tonight, but 8-hole, we're going to have to get lucky. We're more than likely going to be parked a mile. Just hope to get in the flow and get a shot at the head of the stretch.
What's the strategy in a race like that when you've got one of the live contenders, you've got 2 horses in the second tier, you've got a tricky post, so how do you go into a race like that?
Well, you can't take back to last or, 8th or 10th. You just got to be in position. Try to get yourself in a spot. It's going to be a long journey. He's done it before. He did it at Miami Valley. Same kind of trip, same spot. We had the 9-hole. He can do it.
All right, best of luck a little bit later, John. Little Rocket, man, guys, a fan favorite here at Hoosier Park. Again, 40 of his career victories. He's a horse for the course. We'll see how he does a little later tonight in the Dan Patch.
Pretty cool stuff as odds-on Alpha Male gets the victory here as your favorite. $5 winner, bit of a tiger, tried to make a run. How about big long shot Blacklist D-Tam? He actually made it close for second at the end there too, Kevin.
Yeah, he definitely helped the superfecta price there, and actually I thought he got up for second. That horse raced very good tonight.
Was tight there. Got a nice win there. Odds on Alpha Male. We'll see if the front-running styles continue throughout the evening. But coming up a little bit later on, as Gabe was touching on the Dan Patch Stakes in race 13 tonight. The feature of the day, a 1-mile pace. And taking a look at the field, a really competitive group here. And we'll take a look at Charlie May. This is a horse, Kevin, who's 3-1 on the morning line. He is breaking from the second tier. Any concerns with that? As this is his win in the Houghton 2-back.
Yeah, the problem here tonight is I was talking to Timmy Tetrick about this race, and he's driven a lot of these horses. Charlie May is a great horse. He knows how to win, and he's definitely the horse to beat. But the one horse, Buckabed Hanover, who's a great horse, he can't push out of there at all. And those 2 horses with the second tier, he has nowhere to go. So they might get away 6th or 7th in the first turn. And David Miller, Lewis Pearlman, and James McDonald, they must push out of there. They get a cheap half. They're never going to catch them. So it's when the gate opens, it's where they get away. It's going to be, especially with a speed track like it is tonight, it's going to be very tough.
Where would you like to see Charlie May early in the race? What would be the ideal position for him if he can navigate a trip from where he is?
Well, if Charlie May was on the gate, Charlie May would probably be 1st or 2nd right out of there in the quarter. He's a superstar horse. But you're at the mercy of the one horse. So if the one can't get out of there at all, it's going to be tough sledding. But they're 2 good horses, the 1 and 10. They could be 1st and 2nd. It just all depends how far back they get.
And a buck about Hanover. He has a lot of talent as well. Won second in the Dave Brower Memorial. He's won some big races too. He has some quality. It'll be fun to see how these horses stack up. And this is a race that got, again, a salty field, and it's an important race for these runners as well.
Yeah, I talked to his driver, Scotty Zeron, yesterday, and he explained to me the horse made the list his last start at the Meadowlands when he got parked and he got beat 40 lengths. And Scotty said he was phenomenal in the qualifier the other day, and he expects that horse to race really good tonight.
Looking forward to seeing it. Will be a nice matchup and some talented horses lining up for this year's edition of the Dan Patch Stakes. We'll talk more about it in a bit as we get closer and closer to tonight's feature. We'll take a quick break, and when we come back, we'll talk about thoroughbred jockey Flavien Prat. He's been dominating with the big graded stakes wins this summer in Saratoga, but he's got another big race coming up. We'll talk a little bit more about after this. You're watching America's Day at the Races with live racing action from Harrah's Hoosier Park on Dan Patch Night. Well, as we promised you before the break, thoroughbred jockey Flavien Prat has already picked up 3 Grade 1 wins this summer at Saratoga, but he has a lifelong connection to harness racing as well as a big date in the sulky this summer. And it all goes back to the love for harness racing that started with his family.
We're out here for a match race with Flavien Prat and Brett Beckwith on August 19th, Saturday night. It's a match race for 2 charities, the BCA Faith House of Saratoga and the Franklin Community Center of Saratoga.
So it's good, it's for charity, and it's hopefully everybody's gonna have fun.
Well, my daughter, who organized this whole thing, told me that Flavien drew the 1 hole, and I told him, and he was all happy because he didn't want Brett to get around him. And then we just found the bad news out this morning that he has the 2 hole.
Strategy was to go to the lead and then never look back, but we'll see how it goes. Breezed the filly today, and I really had good feeling with her. So.
Well, Flavien beat me at the wire there, but I dropped my whip around the far turn and I couldn't get the earplugs out. So it's the only reason he beat me.
It went really well for me. Not for him, but for me, it went really well.
I actually didn't have earplugs in. He beat me fair and square.
I'm I'm just saying, you sound like a typical trainer with all the excuses, the earplugs, dropping the crop. But I love it, Kevin. A lot of fun. And Beckwith versus Pratt coming up. That'll be really exciting.
He's getting really cocky. He's getting more and more brave every time he gets behind a horse. And he's a great person. I hope him the best, and I hope we can get a win for him that night.
And it's pretty special. It's for charity as well.
Yeah, for sure. It's for the Faith House in the backstretch here for the daycare and the Franklin Community Center in Saratoga.
Yeah.
So it's my daughter done it all. Mary McDermott's put this together with the Standardbred Horsemen's Association, and I'm thrilled to do it. It's going to be a big crowd there that night.
Just fantastic. Can't wait for it. Not only is Flavien Pratt good in the sulky, he's already had 4 graded stakes wins this meet in Saratoga, 3 grade 1s. Last summer, Kevin, he was second in the standings, but he did not get a grade 1 here at Saratoga. We're halfway through, and he already has 3.
I think this year that he got so many more connections, because last year when he started off slow, you know, he didn't start off slow, but he didn't have all the connections. I didn't know if he was going to do in New York, and obviously he's a great, great rider. And also in the charity race, Chad Brown and Claridge Stables has donated the money, and Flavian's going to be wearing Claridge Stables colors that night.
That's absolutely wonderful, and a big shout out to Seth Klarman and his team. Saturday, August 19th, 6:45 p.m. post time, the sulky match race of the summer. Don't miss out. Really excited about that.
Post time for the races is 6:45. That race is going to go off at about 8:10.
Okay.
So they get the time to run the last race here.
All right, I like it. I like it. Back over at Charlestown, we have the 5th race coming up. Horses loading into the gate, 7 furlongs on the main track, and this allowance optional claiming your favorite is the 8 Rad Paisley to the outside. Say that slowly, and we'll send it up to track announcer Paula Spinoza for the call.
Last one in, Rad Paisley. They're in the gate. And they're off. A little bit of a bobble at the start for Rad Paisley. From the rail, EJ's Revenge is flashing speed. And now from the far outside, Rad Paisley is up to join the pace setters and try to cross and clear from his far outside post. Arnaldo Bocachica goes to work on getting him to save some ground, but the runners to his inside are holding their positions as well. Nearest to the rail, it's Overly Critical, and then comes Pyeongchang. There, followed by Like Seagal, and floated 4 wide was Mr. Hoover into that bend. And then down towards the rail, EJ's Revenge is joined by Napa Valley, and the trailer is Frogtown as they head to the half-mile pole. Opening quarter in 23-1. Rad Paisley's in front by a head from Overly Critical in second with less than a half-mile to go. These top 2 have opened up by 5 on Pyeongchang back in third. Like Seagal is 4th down at the fence. Mr. Hoover is 5th out in the clear. They're followed by Napa Valley. Frogtown races out in the clear next to last, and EJ's Revenge is the trailer. So, Overly Critical is back in front of Rad Paisley as they head into the far turn, opening half in 47-1. Overly Critical sent along. Rad Paisley sticks right with them. They are now 7 lengths in front of Pyeongchang and Mr. Hoover as they bend around the far turn. Overly Critical and Rad Paisley are 1-2 and continue their battle. They are still more than half a dozen lengths in front of the rest of this field. Overly Critical shrugging off the challenge of Rad Paisley's thus far, who's still putting in a bid. And then comes Napa Valley trying to run on from behind. They come down to the 16th pole. Overly Critical, Napa Valley trying to sneak through at the fence, but he's run out of time to get to Overly Critical, who takes them all the way. A 2-length win over Napa Valley, Rad Paisley, and Frogtown.
Overly Critical was dueling with your favorite Rad Paisley, who had a little bit of a stumble at the start throughout, but Overly Critical gets the win in the 5th at Charlestown. Back at Hoosier Park, race 9 coming up. It's the Joe Patchen, a 1-mile pace. Kevin, before we get to Gabe and Emily, any thoughts, a pick that perhaps you like here in the night?
I kind of like the long shot play tonight. I like the 2-horse. It's going to David Miller from a driver that just, you know, does okay for himself out there. So I'm going to pick the 2-horse at 8-1 here.
I like it, Adam. 12. Best of luck. Your favorite is the 4. Call Out My Name. For more in the 9th, let's check in with Gabe and Emily.
Thanks so much, Occasion. And I think Kevin's onto something here, Emily. I thought this was one of the more wide-open races on this entire card tonight. You and I have gone price shopping as well. We've got a group of 11, 10 3-year-olds, 1 4-year-old in this group. I know, Emily, you like the 5 Flirtin' JK, who's flirting with double digits up there on the board right now, 9-1.
Yeah, I'm loving this price, Gabe. This is a horse I've been watching all season long. He's a young 3-year-old. They've been taking their time with him. He's a green 3-year-old. He can be a little cantankerous. As you can see, he's made some breaks here and there, but he's got high speed. Last week, they were pretty pretty conservative with him. He paced home in 27 seconds, 51-4. Tonight, I wouldn't be surprised to see if they were a little more aggressive with him, and would like to see this colt respond, particularly at those 9-1 odds.
Yeah, that would be good. Good price. 14 McCumber there, the 5 Flirt and JK. I'm going to swing with an absolute bomb here. How about this one, Emily? Devin Tharps came up tonight for 2 drives on the entire 15 race card. One of them right here aboard the 7 Mateo. If you're a replay watcher, this horse is absolutely raging with pace last week. He could not get through. Well, that was with his owner and trader of the bike, Elson Miller, who doesn't drive a lot of races. He turns over tonight to Devin Tharps. I'm hoping that he gets some lucky breaks here. He's going to need them, but he's up there at 50-1. I'm going to swing here with a bomber.
I like it. I like your style. And speaking of bomber, James McDonald's hopping aboard the 6 Bugaboo Lou for the Brian Brown barn. He's at a nice price right now at 5-2.
All right, we'll see how it shakes out. We'll see if this one has upset special written all over it. Michael Chamberlain with a call, race 9.
They are up. Away well at the inside, Latsanakis. There's Call Out My Name and Adam 12 third. Then it's Bugaboo Lou with South Point to the inside of that. Next comes Ponda Executive, then JK Black Gold with Flirtin' JK racing 8th early on. 9th is Mateo, and Mock Seelster is 10th and last. Opening quarter 26-2, and they now move on to the back stretch. And on the outside, coming on to claim the lead is Adam 12. Adam 12 in front. Back to second, Call Out My Name. Latsanakis is next in third. South Point is fourth. After that comes Bugaboo Lou with Ponda Executive. And then right back of that is JK Black Gold. Trying to come through on the inside, Flirtin' JK. And the last 2 are Mateo and Mock Seelster. Half mile, 54-4. Second quarter, 28-2. They're moving on to the far turn with Adam 12 up top. Adam 12 in front with Bugaboo Lou on the outside of Call Out My Name. Then Ponda Executive is to the outside of Latsanakis. Racing next is JK Black Gold with South Point down on the inside as the field moves into the stretch. 3 quarters, 122-1. Adam 12 off the turn with the lead by 2 lengths. Call Out My Name second. Bugaboo Lou in pursuit. Latsanakis trying to come through to the inside. South Point needs racing room. Trying to close down the outside is JK Black Gold. Now moving through on the inside is Call Out My Name. Call Out My Name. Adam 12 digging in. Adam 12 with a narrow lead. Call Out My Name still coming to the inside. Adam 12, Call Out My Name. Adam 12 wins it. Call Out My Name was second, then JK Black Gold and South Point in 150-2.
Adam 12 holds on. Another good selection from Kevin McDermott tonight. He had to fight for it, though, over your favorite in here, Kevin.
Yeah, this just goes to show what a speed bias track it is there tonight, because this horse probably wasn't the best horse. And turn over home, I thought he was beat, and the horses that were sitting 1-2 just still finished 1-2. So it's front end all night long.
Adam 12 holding on. Nice selection by Kevin. Gabe and Emily is, as you heard Kevin mention, the speed, that's what you want tonight. Does that change how you potentially look at things later for the Dan Patch?
Yeah, I think it's something to keep our eyes on, Acacia, but I think it's pretty clear at this point, Emily, after we've seen 4 consecutive. And hats off to Kevin. That was a nice selection there. Yeah. He's obviously onto something. When you see some of the big-name drivers here from out of town come in, they get on a horse here at Hoosier Park for the first time, they can really lift their game.
Yeah, they really can, and they come in with a fresh perspective, and, they don't know anything about the horse oftentimes, so they just jump in and do what feels right. And tonight, David Miller has got got it going right. So, like you said, you certainly want to jump in. You certainly want to pay attention, and front-end speed appears to be holding up as of right now.
And one thing I can say, guys, if we're noticing all that front-end speed here on the card tonight, the guys back in the driver's room are noticing the same. It could be a wild shootout into the opening turn here for some of our big races left on this card, because with that early speed holding up, everyone back there is going to want to be near the front.
Yeah, great point, Gabe. That could actually turn things into a pretty hot pace early on if you see a lot of guys start to try to be aggressive, thinking that there is a bit of a bias on the racetrack. But Adam 12 holding on. Driver David Miller picks up another one tonight at Hoosier Park. We'll bring you prices after this on America's Day at the Races.
Purple Haze Standardbred Adoption Program in Oxford, New York was created in 2018 by Wanda Palacini to provide training to transition for finding homes and new careers for horses. Horses are started with groundwork and then ridden in an arena before moving on. Horses at Purple Haze are then evaluated and adopted out based on abilities and temperament. If you have a horse that you care about, or if you are looking for a great pleasure horse, contact Purple Haze Standardbred Adoption Program at 518-669-2715.
When it comes to horse racing, you can never have too much information. With Twin Spires, you can place your bets with confidence. Whether you use handicapping insights like our Brisnet speed ratings, prime power and past performances, the guidance of our experts' top picks, or just choose a name that catches your eye. Yes! No matter how you pick your horse, bet with Twin Spires. Start earning your $200 sign-up bonus when you sign up with offer code GET200.
Reach for the unreachable. Race to new horizons. The artisan's quest for beauty burns in the heart of Japan, forging strength like no other, with love and honed to perfection. Noble, authentic, and only here. The legacy of strength.
Park's 50-cent Win Early Pick 5 is one of the country's earliest Pick 5s, making it the perfect way to get your wagering day started. With a 12:40 post on weekends and 2 p.m. start on Fridays, the Win Early Pick 5 is home to 6-figure pools and a low 15% takeout. Start your day winning early. Play Monmouth Park's Win Early Pick 5. Win early, win often.
Welcome back to America's Day at the Races. So glad to have you with us on this Dan Patch night as we see Adam 12 being led into the winner's circle. Top pick by Kevin McDermott. Another nice price. Well done.
Yeah, you can tell I'm not really betting on these things or they'd be finishing second. But that was just a figure horse and, you know, a big driver change, and the horse raced very good on a speed bias track.
$14.20 winner. A nice price indeed. Call out my name. Came up the inside, made it interesting late, but could not get by. 2-4-3 in race 9 at Hoosier. Race 10 coming up will be the Tom Dietrich Memorial for fillies and mares. Kevin, give us a little background on the name of this race.
Tom Dietrich is the dad of Timmy and Trace Dietrich, and he had a long battle with, I believe it was Alzheimer's. I hate to say what it was, and he passed there last month, and he was a very good guy. He was a mentor to those kids. He made them work hard, and they earned everything they got, those kids. So I'm very happy. And Mr. Dietrich was a great person. Very special race coming up, the Tom Dietrich Memorial. Special to have the opportunity to name this race after him for fillies and mares coming up in the 10th. But coming up a little bit later on in the 13th, it'll be the Dan Patch Stakes, the feature this evening, as it's a 1-mile pace. Here's a look at the field. You have some really talented horses. What kind of trip will Charlie May pull? That's the big question. 7-2 in the morning line as well is Little Rocket Man. What kind of shot do you give that horse?
Yeah, number 30 of the Dan.
It's just going to be all depends on what happens when the gate opens there. The 4 and 6 are going to be the speed in that race, I believe. The 7 and the 8, they're local horses and they have chances in there too. But I think it's going to be a 4-6 around the track and see if the rotating, belt goes on tonight.
Well, for more on the history of the Dan Patch, we'll send in, we'll send it over to racing analyst Bob Hollywood Hayden. Hey, Bob, got a little bit of insight for us.
It's edition number 30 of the Dan Patch. You know, in the first edition ever, he had the fastest horse of all time, defending horse of the year, staying together, but it didn't work. He only finished 4th. Edition number 3, Jenna's Beach Boy, he the one had lowered staying together's record to 47-3. He won it in 96. And then you got to go all the way to Lather Up, 2019. He had a 46 mark. And Bulldog Hanover last year as the only horse to win Horse of the Year and the Dan Patch in the same year. Do you want to be on the lead, the Dan Patch? Well, 29 editions, 24 horses who were on the lead in the first quarter. Only 3 of those 24 have won. That's right. Keep that in mind. This year, 9 of the 11 drivers did not drive their horse in the Dan Patch in the last pari-mutuel start. 5 horses of the year have participated in this race. And back on November 12th, 1994, the first Dan Patch, 75 horses, 9 races, and a 40G pot. This year, we have a whole different story with 157 horses scheduled to go 15 times and 310 on the line. Bulldog, Hanover, and Catch the Fire, last 2 winners, $43,000 combined. That's right. And if you want to try one of the local horses this year, Tell Me About It and Little Rocket Man, guess what? They're $43,000 combined. Yearling prices too. $25 for Tell Me About It, $18 for Little Rocket Man. Dan Patch himself. Who was Dan Patch? Well, he was born in 1896. He was the sport's first ever rock star. The first decade of the 20th century, he set a speed mark that wasn't lowered for 33 years. I know it's 118 years ago, but everybody seems to remember him. Sportsman's Park, the very year that this race debuted here in Indiana, also had a Dan Patch. Dan Patch once performed in front of 93,000 people. Keep in mind, the population of Oxford, where he was born, is 1,647. And Anderson is 54,000 plus. 114.8 miles away is where Dan Patch was born. And finally, this is the 10th straight horse of the year, likely this year, to be racing at Hoosier Park. The first 19 years, the only horse of the year who made it here was Gallup Blue Chip, and he was second back in 2000 Hoosier Cup. 10 to 15 years ago, it was legitimate to wonder if Hoosier Park was even on the harness racing map. Now, an industry destination point with the Dan Patch in August on everybody's calendar.
Indeed it is. Bob, thank you so much. Bob Hollywood Hayden, local racing analyst at Hoosier Park. And Kevin, you were just telling me that you and Bob go way back.
Yeah, Bob's helped my career a whole lot. When I first started off, he was the publicity guy at the Meadowlands, and he did everything for me. He talked about my barn all the time. He always gave me credit, and I owe Bob a lot. Bob's a great, great human being, and he's great to my daughter who worked for the Hamiltonian Society.
And obviously knows so much about the history of the game as well. Great to get a little bit of insight behind the race coming up tonight. Call to post for the 10th, the Tom Dietrich Memorial, a special named race here for the fillies and mares. And here's a look at the field. We'll meet them. Kevin starting things off with a long shot, Wild Rosa.
Yeah, the inside horses here, it's a little tough. This is an open handicap, so the better horses are on the outside. So the one horse is a nice horse, but probably just a little bit too tough tonight.
Here's the 2, Skyway Brittany, another long shot.
Very similar. It's up in class from open 2 to open 1, and probably just look for a check.
She's magical.
Perry Smith, he's a good trainer. Mike Oosting's a good driver. That horse could probably hit the superfecta there at 9 to 1.
Here's Pattsville, John DeLong looking for another one.
Yeah, he shows speed. I'm just looking at speed now, trying to change my picks, and that horse will definitely be up close. And that horse looks like he likes to be second and third, so maybe in the super he'll be like that.
Maggie Ree went by. Here's the 6, Elegant A. I'm sure this would be a special win for Trace Dietrich.
For sure, but this is an Australian horse, and it looks like that horse comes from the back of the pack, and tonight that might be a tough spot to be.
There's the number 7, I'm Often Gone.
Picks up Scotty Zeron for Todd Luther, one of the big owners in the sport, and definitely belongs in this race.
Here's Electra going by. Here's the Pantheist.
Yeah, this horse has only started 2 starts. No, he's never started in this country. This is his first start in the country. And, you know, you like to race them from behind the first couple of starts. You don't want to get them too hot or they're going to just lose their mind.
And she's a sharpshooter to the outside. That's the field for the Tom Dietrich Memorial. Your pick, Kevin?
I charge for my picks from now on. I can't give them out.
Yeah, he's on fire tonight.
Yeah, my original pick, I'm going to stick with it, is the 10 horse. That horse has been racing out at the Meadowlands and been racing really, really good. And you just got to hope he gets away, you know, 3rd or 4th, somewhere up close and can move him early. But James McDonald is an aggressive speed driver, and I'm sure him knowing the speed is good tonight, he's going to put that horse in play.
She's a sharp shooter to the outside. I like it. Let's check in trackside with Gabe and Emily.
Thanks so much, guys. And I guess great minds think alike, Kevin, because Ipple Gasket, I know you like the 10. She's a sharpshooter. James McDonald, by the way, the pilot, he's a leading driver for Woodbine at Mohawk Park in Ontario. I understand he had a little traffic troubles getting into town, Emily. His flight canceled. He had to drive.
He did. He drove down, but he made it. So he's had plenty of time to think about it, nonetheless. But, yeah, he makes it here to drive this mare for Gary Murner Jr. She's making her Harris Hoosier Park debut, but she's been a model of consistency. I'm going to hop on the bandwagon with Kevin here and jump on. And I like the price. So, she was a 10-1 on the morning line. She's right now at 5-1. We've seen, she's the type of mare that looks like she likes the front. And we talk about the front end speed holding up. If he can get to the front from post 10, I think she could be awfully tough.
And that is going to be the concern with post 10. They're starting in the second tier. That'll be up to James McDonald, of course, to try and see if he can work the lead. If you're out there taking a look at this field, you're going to see several horses with an A or an N beside their name. Emily, those are imported horses. So anything you see with an A beside their name, those horses were imported from Australia. If it's an N, they're imported from New Zealand. We're getting to see more of the United States harness racing scene. Plenty of horses that are imported from down under. And we've got an interesting newcomer here, Emily, I want to ask you about. That's the 8 Electra. She recently imported. She last raced May down under. She's had a couple of qualifiers here post 8. She's on debut for one of the top traders here at Hoosier Park, Jeff Cullifer, off a very successful qualifier. A little bit of a sneaky long shot perhaps in here. She's up there on the board at 13-1.
Yeah, one of those mares that I'm really anxious to watch race here tonight, Gabe. As you said, just raced in Australia. Looks like they qualified her, gave her a week or two, and then qualified her back. And that was an eye-popping qualifier. 51-3, last quarter in 26-3. Like you said, high percentage connections here. It's oftentimes interesting when they make their debut. You really don't know what you're going to get. It's obviously a different racing style than what they're typically used to. But she's been here for a couple months. She's been acclimated. Jeff Cullifer is one of those trainers. He's not going to drop her in the box unless she's ready to go. And off of that qualifier, I would say it's all systems go.
Yeah, Jeff does a great job. His horses always look the part on the track as well. That's the key thing. Sometimes when we see these horses imported in, they seem to be very, very good when they first arrive. I've seen some that maybe tailed off after a month or so, but it's a different sort of style here in the States. Sometimes they're racing different distances, whatever, from down under, but, we'll see what we get there. One other added note, I know Kevin mentioned the 4 Pattsville had some early speed here, so we started to take a second look at this mare. She adds Lasix for the first time tonight as well. She's got a good post here, post 4. The addition of the therapeutic medication Lasix could aid her chances. And the way this track is playing, Emily, I just don't think you could overlook any early speed.
Yeah, and John DeLong already with the winner on the program tonight. And like you said, adds Lasix for the first time. She's been a model of consistency at Hoosier Park this season. So she knows the track and knows it quite well. We've seen some versatility from her. She raced on the front a few back. Last week, she was off the pace. Maybe didn't kick home as much as she had. They took some, adjustments there. And tonight she draws to the inside. So I would not be surprised to see her step off the gate and try her chances.
Yeah, deep group here, top to bottom. Elegant, another one you gave a look at, Emily, the runner-up spot. She's an imported mare as well from Australia, but she's been here for quite a while now, all this season. She imported there at some point late last year. She's been over $50,000. She's been on the board 7 of 8. You get Hoosier Park's top driver and Trace Dietrich from post 6. That's why you're seeing a short price right now at 7-5.
Yeah, and it sure would be cool to see Trace Dietrich win a race named in honor of his late father, the Tom Dietrich Memorial. So, and pulling for him here, obviously, like you said, seeing him at a short price. Another one that I think is interesting that we talk about late in the mile, that's the 5 Gabe. Brett Miller hops aboard, and Maggie Reese, she's one of those that loves the long quarter mile stretch here at Harris Hoosier Park and was able to get up for 3rd place honors from post position 9. Tonight she'll be much closer, and she gets the live drive of Brett Miller and the bike.
Yeah, and how about this, guys? You think the sport of harness racing is crazy? Brett Miller and the bike there from post 5 tonight on Maggie Bree. He was racing earlier, just a couple of hours ago, over in Columbus at Souder Downs. So he drove about half that card. He's made his way over here to Harris Hoosier Park, who actually had the assignment of the morning line favorite in the feature dance patch stakes a little later on tonight with Charlie May. So he's here to team up with Charlie. For now, he's got Maggie Ree. Brett has arrived tonight. Post 5, 5-1 on the board. Deep group here, contentious group. It's the Tom Dietrich Memorial in tonight's 10th race.
Starting gate is moving now for race 10. 9-5 on Elegant. 3-1, She's a Sharpshooter. Here they come. They are off. Leaving well from the outside is the Pantheist. Moving up quickly, Pattsville, Skyway Brittany, and there's Maggie Ree on the scene as well. At the inside is Wild Rosa. In between horses, She's a Sharpshooter, who's moved up from the second tier. Electra is caught 3 wide, moving on to the first turn. And then down on the inside comes She's Magical. Next is Elegant, and the trailer, I'm Off and Gone. The opening quarter, 26-2. On to the backstretch they go. Leading the way, Maggie Ree. Maggie Ree in front a length. Next, second is Pattsville. Skyway Brittany third. The Pantheist is fourth. Advancing to the inside of that is Wild Rosa. And then it's Electra right there on the outside. She's a Sharpshooter to the inside of She's Magical. And the last two are Elegant and I'm Off and Gone. Half mile, 54-2, second quarter, 28 seconds. To the far turn they go. Maggie Ree a length. The Pantheist is up on the outside of Pattsville now and is leading the outer flow. Down on the inside is Skyway Brittany. Then Electra up on the outside. Next comes She's Magical with Wild Rosa. Then Elegant, I'm Off and Gone, and She's a Sharpshooter. Head of the stretch, headed for home, 3/4, 123. Maggie Ree with the lead. Pattsville is to the inside. The Pantheist is next, third. And then here on the near side is Electra trying to move up. Down toward the pylon, Skyway Brittany looking for an avenue. Skyway Brittany coming on through. Pattsville, Maggie Ree, the Pantheist on the outside is also trying to come on. But it is Skyway Brittany at 21-1 to score the upset. Photo for second with Electra and the Pantheist, 150-3.
A big upset here in the 10th. Skyway Brittany gets the win, and David Miller putting on a clinic tonight.
You can't stop him. You can only help to contain him. But that horse, you know, you look at the program now, that horse shows speed every week, and just one of those things, you just got to look for that all night long.
Big effort here from, excuse me, that long shot. Maggie Ree tried to take them every step, but just couldn't hold off the Price horse at the end. As guys, we saw a big upset here. Gabe and Emily, Skyway Brittany with the win.
We did indeed, Acacia. It's all purple all the time here on a Friday night so far at Hoosier Park. How in the world did they let Purple Jesus Dave Miller off at better than 20-1?
We know better than that, and especially with the inside post draw, we talked about it. We were standing here watching the race, and just a whole host of them left alertly, stepped out of there. But it was Dave Miller who was able to thread the needle, get up the inside there, and get the job done.
Yeah, it really was. You saw all those horses leaving off the gate there. They wanted to be forwardly placed the way this track has been playing tonight. We did see the front end get a little tired there. Maggie Reed, want to correct one other thing. That was not Brett Miller. He's not here yet tonight. I'm sure he'll be here for the big race a bit later on, but obviously he must still be in transit from Columbus. Joey Putnam was in the bike there and tried to go down the road with the 5 Maggie Reed.
Yeah, as we talked about, Joey Putnam picking up the call there for Brett Miller. He's still in transit. Hopefully make it for the big one. Of course, got a big one on the line with Charlie May there, but David Miller, have to believe, we talked about trends, have to believe that, you're going to have to give serious look to Luz Perlman tonight in the big one.
Oh, yes, no question about that. Dave has done it again. Skyway Brittany here, 15-1 of the morning line. She's made over $250,000. She's an Indiana bred, daughter of Rocket Image. It's her 4th win of the season, guys. Number 15 overall and just her 70th career start. Big time price here at better than 20-1. She's going to check in, guys, the 3rd longest shot on the board.
An upset indeed, an overlay is Purple Jesus. We should have known all the conversation about the nickname. He was going to win a lot tonight. He does it again. We'll bring you prices for Skyway Brittany and more after this.
Experience the adrenaline-pumping, suspense-filled action of the Sport of Kings no matter where you are with Naira Bets. It's fast, easy, and secure. Download the app today and start winning with our lucrative weekly promotions, thrilling handicapping contests, and a one-of-a-kind VIP rewards program. Don't just watch horse racing, be a part of the action with Naira Bets.
We're back on America's Day at the races as we saw a big upset in the Tom Dietrich Memorial. David Miller putting on a show tonight at Hoosier Park, getting another victory, and this time, Kevin, at a generous price.
Yeah, I guess you just got to jump on the Purple Jesus bandwagon all night. You know, he's figured the track out, and we missed the boat on that one.
$44.40 winner. Let's go to Gabe.
Thanks so much, Acacia. And Dave, this has to be pretty fun tonight. You show up, you get on some horses, and things are rolling your way right now.
Yeah, it's going good, you know, no complaints.
And what were you told going into this race? Skyway Brittany, I'm assuming your first time sitting behind her. You got her a nice up-close trip. She responded for you late.
Yeah, you know, just looking at her lines, she looked like she could get out of there. And I know she was up in class, but she raced very well and got the job done.
And the way this racetrack is playing tonight, David, just seems to be that you need to be up close to the action, forwardly placed. We saw 3 consecutive wire-to-wire winners before that race. Do you think there's something to that type of track bias here tonight?
Yeah, right now it seems to be working that way. You know, nothing's really come from way out of it. You know, they haven't been any big speed duels or anything like that, so that always helps.
Yeah, and there could be one with that big money in the line, as we know a little bit later. But does that change your strategy heading into the Dan Patch here with Loose Pearl, with the way you see this track play so far?
No, I'm kind of sticking to my game plan still, and hopefully it works out.
Your game plan's been working out so far. Guys, he's a Hall of Famer for a reason. Dave Miller, he picks up another upset victory at a big night here at Hoosier Park.
He's fun to watch, that's for sure. Gabe, thank you so much. Skyway, Brittany, and David Miller picks up another one in the 10th at Hoosier. All loaded into the gate for the 6th at Charlestown. A maiden special weight, 7 furlongs for the 3-year-olds. Here's Paula Espinosa.
Oh, popping open the front of the gate there was number 4, Rush to Candy. Dream Force a little bit stirred up right next door.
As you saw there, Rush to Candy popped open the front of the starting gate. Great job, Kevin, by the gate crew to hold on to him. He didn't run off anywhere from there.
Yeah, they did an amazing job there to hold on to that horse, because that should have been a loose horse running around the track. They get all the credit in the world, the gate crew.
Absolutely. As you see, the number 9, Yo Vinny, acting up now. Looks like they're all in line. Let's head back to Paula Espinosa.
And they're off. It's a good beginning for Occasional Moon, and the favorite heads out directly to the lead and opens up by 2 quick lengths here, but has a crush of horses in behind him, vying for that second spot. Yo Vinny is right there in the thick of things with his stablemate Tempestivo, and Dream Force is trying to race off of heels there, and a 5-wide trip for Loco into that first turn. So they sort themselves out, and it's Occasional Moon running the point from Tempestivo. A 3-wide Yo Vinny, and Dream Force is down at the rail now, moves up a spot into 3rd. Loco trying to work in now and save some ground as they head to the half-mile pole. It's another gap of 2 to Smoke and Smitty, and then another gap of 2 to Rush to Candy as they straighten onto the backstretch. 3 more back to El Rey de Papa and Booyah. Another gap of a 12 lengths back to the trailer, Lil Buddy. So they head up the backstretch, Occasional Moon. Blazing the way, opening quarter in 23 and 2, the half in 47 and 3. Tempestivo sent along from second as they hit the far turn. Yo Vinny and Dream Force races a team 3rd and 4th, and then comes Loco in 5th. But in the meantime, Occasional Moon pushes that margin up to 5 with 3/16 to go. Tempestivo is still a clear 2nd, and then comes Dream Force with Yo Vinny and Loco. Not much change in the plot with a furlong left to go. Occasional Moon rips off the turn, widening now to an 8-length lead. Tempestivo is still 2nd, then Dream Force and Loco, 16th pole, and it's all Occasional Moon. And JD Acosta on to take it by 7 lengths on the wire from Tempestivo, and then Loco and Dream Force.
Blinkers off, back on the main track. It all worked out for Occasional Moon, who takes them gate to wire. Aggressive ride by JD Acosta from Jonathan Maldonado. And Kevin, this is a horse that had run some good races. I think just maybe facing a notch tougher than the company found tonight at Charlestown.
Yeah, I agree. The horse race really, really good tonight.
JD Acosta aggressive with this one. He goes
that
right to the front end. That's all right. And he takes them every step of the way. He found his friends this afternoon, and that's what it's often about. You know, as a horseman, not only do you have to have your horses conditioned, but you also have to be a good manager and find the right spots for them, right?
Absolutely, I agree. You have to find the right classes. You guys have condition books. We have condition sheets, and you know, you win half the races when you enter the horses. That's the truth.
That's the 6th at Charlestown. We'll head back over to Hoosier Park. It's time for race 11. It's the Greg Haston Memorial. Give us the story behind this one.
I really don't know.
All right, no worries then.
This one I can't tell you about. I'm sorry, I really don't have any idea.
We'll get the insight from Gabe and Emily in a moment. I put you on the spot there.
Yeah.
1 mile pace coming up at Hoosier, as taking a look at General Dolan, 7 to 5 there on the board. We'll talk more about this field with 9 at the Greg Haston Memorial after this on America's Day at the Races.
Harness Racing's World Championship event, valued at $7 million, returns to Harrah's Hoosier Park Racing and Casino for 2 extraordinary nights of racing. Join us Friday, October 27th and Saturday, October 28th, 2023 for the 40th edition of the Breeders' Crown. In harness racing, it all comes down to the crown.
Ever dream of owning your own racehorse? How would you like to get in the winner's circle with the #1 harness racing partnership in the U.S., VIP Stable? There's nothing like the thrill of your horse coming down the stretch. To find out more, call VIP Stable at 877-VIP-WIN-1 or visit us on the web at www.vipstable.com. Turning horse racing fans into racehorse owners. Be a winner.
Introducing a stallion, as top class as they come. In 22 career starts, he won or placed in 12 graded stakes, competing in 15 grade ones, earning over $1.7 million. His undisputed speed is evidenced by 7 100-plus Spire speed figures, a 3-time grade 1 winner, Raging Bull.
Racetrack Television Network brings you every race, from every track, on every screen, every day. With monthly packages starting as low as $5, RTN gives you great value and access to more live HD streaming and race replays than anyone. Visit RTN.tv today to sign up and watch on almost any device, including Roku and Amazon Fire. RTN has packages that start at $5 per month.
We're back on America's Day at the Races, brought to you by Naira Bets. You can bet any track, anywhere, anytime. Visit NairaBets.com or download the Naira Bets app today to get started. Race 11 from Hoosier Park coming up next. We're getting closer and closer to the Dan Patch this evening. Of course, that's our feature coming up as race 13, but a good one coming up here in the Greg Haston Memorial for a 1 mile pace. General Dolan, Kevin, is currently the favorite. What are your thoughts on this one?
Well, Tyler George, who's the leading trainer out there, his UDR is 500. He has 2 horses in the race, and Trace Dietrich had the choice of either one of them, and either horse can win, and he took the 4 horse. So I'd have to say that that's the horse to go to here. But if you look at the program, every horse in this race leaves. So as David said, no one got nasty yet. This might be one of the races where they go a real crazy half and see how fair the racing is.
Yeah, we'll see if there is a mad scramble for drivers wanting to be forwardly placed on a track that has been kind tonight to early speed. For more on this race, let's check in with Gabe and Emily.
Thanks a lot, Acacia. It certainly has been kind of early speed, and business is starting to pick up, Emily Gaskin. We are less than an hour away right now for the featured Dan Patch Stakes here tonight, the big one each and every year at Hoosier Park. $310,000 on the line, and you can see behind us all the superstars here, part of that blockbuster 11-horse field. They're starting to file into the front show paddock.
Feels like we're a little bit in the locker room, doesn't it? We're right down here in the thick of things. Great to see and be right down here in the action. Of course, you look at these horses on the program, and they live up to the hype, certainly so.
All right, and we're getting set here for a post-parade, Emily, race 11. This just a notch below the Dan Patch, by the way. Invitational Pacers, nice purse here, $40,000 on the line. I see they're just now stepping onto the track for the late pick 5, which does feature a carryover better than $6,500.
What? Good?
Call to post for the Greg Haston Memorial. Meeting the field, Kevin, starting things off with primary colors.
His driver's nickname is Big Money Brandon Bates.
I like that. General ideas, the 2?
I think this horse has a big shot at 14-1. Tyler George always has the horses ready, and he's a high percentage trainer.
Here's JK Victory.
Ronnie Burke, one of the leading trainer in the country, very competitive horse, and he's going to be forwardly placed here.
Nice price, too. Here's your favorite, General Dolan.
He deserves to be the favorite, but I would never take 6-5 on him in a race like this.
Rock's Shining Star. David Miller looking for another one.
Well, this was my original pick in this race, but he can't win every race. But this horse definitely has a stalking trip in him, and he could probably win this race like second over.
Big price. Your wish is granted.
Yeah, just a little bit too tough for this race. Ricky McCumber, they've always been a leading trainer driver out there, and he does a good job.
In with a chance. Here's Crooked Smile.
This horse has a big chance in this race. He has good gate speed from the outside. He might be the last one to the front.
I Like Me Better, the 8.
Irv Miller trains him, one of the leading trainers in the country also, that has a stable out there, and there's nothing wrong with that horse. He's 1-2 every week.
And the 9, Smooth Bot.
Going to be a tough spot. He's probably going to have to take off the gate from that spot, which will get him away 9th. So that one might be in a little tough race tonight.
Gabe and Jessica, we'll hear from them in a moment as 6-5 on the number 4, General Dolan. Trace Dietrich is the driver here. And how important is that, as you mentioned, the choice of a driver and being able to decide which horse they wanted to go with and maybe they gel with a little bit better?
Yeah, like in the thoroughbred business, the jockeys are already committed before the race. Some top drivers come out with 4 or 5 horses, and then they decide. And, you know, when you're a big trainer, it's all the edge because they're going to drive for the top trainers, most of these drivers. And you see Trace, who's the leading driver there year after year, drives a lot for Tyler, and it's the reason why they win a lot of races.
They'll be teaming up with your favorite General Dolan here. That's a look at the 3 JK Victory as we'll check it again with Gabe and Emily.
Thanks so much, guys. And yes, Epleton, we do have the top Hoosier connection, so to speak, as the favorites right now. Trace Dietrich, we said at the age of 36, hard to imagine. He's been the leading driver here at Hoosier Park 10 consecutive seasons. You've got Tyler George here. He's been the leading trader for 3 consecutive seasons. General Dolan, all that adding up to a very short price at the moment right now, Emily, just 7-5 on the board.
Yeah, you know, this is my top choice in here. Like Kevin said, though, this is a very competitive field, and we talked a little bit about it. We've seen fireworks in this race before. Little Rocket Man, who we'll actually see a little later in the Dan Patch Stakes, raced in this very same race. This is the Greg Haston Memorial. Of course, it is a race named in honor of the very first leading driver at Harrah's Hoosier Park, who was tragically killed in a car accident. But every year we host the Greg Haston Memorial in honor of Greg Haston, and it never fails to produce some fireworks. As I said, Little Rocket Man, a 47-2 mile just a few years ago in this very same race, so would not be surprised to see some fireworks. General Dolan, I think, is going to be one that's going to mix those things up. But we've got a few horses to the outside that I think will certainly mix things up as well. Crooked Smile from the Tim Wilson Jr. barn. He can leave the car as fast as any horses I've seen, and he's done that his last 2 starts at Running Aces, but he comes back to Harrah's Hoosier Park.
Yeah, the rare Minnesota shipper we get here at Hoosier Park tonight. And the horse you just mentioned, the 7 Crooked Smile, he can really wing off that gate. There's no question about that. That last win at Running Aces, that was near track record territory. Probably 149-2 for the mile time there. This is a horse that loves to win. 3 of 16 this year. He's been first or second, 10 of 16. He won 10 times last year at the age of 5, 24 of 102 at his career. So he's a win machine, so to speak. He does pick up the driving services of one of your top drivers here locally in 25-year-old Joey Putnam. He'll have that assignment from Post 7. One thing's for sure, it's going to be interesting when, as Dave said, no one's really battled tremendously here in the front in the early stages. When that happens, you know, are we going to see a little bit of fireworks here and maybe someone from far back to get it done?
Yeah, very much so. You know, and I think it's kind of interesting. You take a look at the odds. There's some horses that, you know, I thought would be taking a little more money than they are. One being the 8, I Like Me Better. We talked about those Australian horses a little earlier, but this horse had an eye-popping win last week. 48-2, 26-3, and that was his first start over the Harrah's Hoosier Park surface. He had been racing out on the East Coast, came to Hoosier Park for one of our leading outfits in Irv Miller, and the horse has been on the board in 6 of 7 this season. Now, he does draw to the outside, but you talk about a horse that may step out of there. I think he could also be one for serious consideration.
Yeah, he hasn't done a thing wrong. Irv Miller, one of the top traders here at Hoosier Park. He does come off that win, as you mentioned. If you're out there watching tonight and you'd like to make a wager or two, most of us do, so that's a great thing. We've got a couple of huge opportunities here, Evelyn, because we've got a Pick 5 carryover, better than $6,400. The early Pick 5 was missed. They've added a $25,000 guaranteed pool here to race 11, and the Superfecta superfecta was missed. We rarely get those superfecta carryovers. That means no one had the last superfecta. So the majority of that pool carries over here. 8,700 in free money here at a carryover opportunity. So really a little something for everyone from the wagering scene here, race 11.
Yeah, and this is such a wide open group. Although the board says that we've got 9-5 favoritism on General Dolan, that's saying that we're leaving out a horse by the name of JK Victory, who, of course, 354,000. He's got a lifetime best of 48-2 right here at Hoosier Park. Hails from the all-time leading trainer in Ron Burke, and you get John DeLong, who we spoke to earlier. So he's had a few winners on the program, and this horse is not a slouch by any stretch of the imagination, and he draws to the inside here tonight. So you talk about the superfecta carryover. I think this is a race you could have a lot of fun and play some numbers.
Well, the reason why it's tough is because it's tough to eliminate anyone. And you just mentioned trainer Ron Burke. His numbers really out there in the sport of horse racing, harness racing, are just astounding, Emily. He recently, just a week ago, picked up his 14,000th career win. Yes, you heard me right. 14,000 wins for a single trader. He's got a string of horses seemingly everywhere. One of your perennial top traders here at Hoosier Park as well. He's got over 310 million career purse earnings. So Ron Burke, you could never leave that name out. He's got the 3 here, JK Victory. So that is a look here at race 11. I think they'll be heading into the starting gate here shortly. And the big dance here, Emily, we're less than an hour away. Again, when we come back, we'll hopefully see some of the Dan Patch starters here right behind us in this front show paddock.
2-1, General Dolan. 3-1, Crooked Smile. Here they come. They are off. And moving away well, General Dolan, JK Victory to the inside. I Like Me Better to the outside. Then it's Primary Colors, Rock Shining Star. Next comes Crooked Smile with Smooth Bot caught very wide going on to the turn. And as they move on that turn and things start to shake out a little bit, the leader is General Dolan. Up on the outside, now there goes I Like Me Better, and I Like Me Better takes the lead. The opening quarter was 26-4. General Dolan back to second. JK Victory is third. Then it's Primary Colors with Rock Shining Star now shifting to the outside and moving up from fifth. 2 lengths back to Crooked Smile. General Idea to the inside of Smooth Bot, and the trailer is Your Wish Is Granted. They're approaching the half-mile pole, and up on the outside it's Rock Shining Star. Rock Shining Star by the half in 55-1. I Like Me Better to the inside second. General Dolan third. JK Victory fourth. Then up on the outside comes Crooked Smile with Primary Colors down by the pylons. Smooth Bot is trying to get going. Your Wish Is Granted also trying to rally wide. And General Idea is the trailer. As they approach the top of the stretch, Rock Shining Star, I Like Me Better, Crooked Smile looms on the outside, 3/4, 123. It is Rock Shining Star, I Like Me Better. Smooth Bot is moving up here nearest the grandstand. Down to the inside is General Dolan, who's going to need some racing room. Your Wish Is Granted also trying to move up. Rock Shining Star with the lead. Crooked Smile driving on the outside. I Like Me Better up the inside. Here comes Crooked Smile trying to get it on the money. Crooked Smile gets up for the win. Rock Shining Star was second, then I Like Me Better, and a photo for fourth with JK Victory and Your Wish Is Granted, 150-1.
Crooked Smile gets the win here in the Greg Haston Memorial. Look for a minute there, Kevin. Like David Miller was going to pick up another one with Rock Shining Star.
I thought he was home free. He wasn't asking the horse to go, and then when he asked him to go at the end, he just got beat. But once again, that horse looked like he was done around the far turn, and he kept going on. So it's definitely a speed bias track, as I keep saying.
Joey Putnam, though, the driver on Crooked Smile, comes along the outside and gets the victory. The horses bring in Gabe and Emily here. This horse has been incredibly consistent recently, guys.
You know, he really has. Keisha, we talked to him. A rare shipper here at Hoosier Park from Minnesota, way out there in the running Aces circuit. Arrived in very good form, guys. 3 wins over his last 4 starts. So Crooked Smile, maybe the sharpest horse coming into this race. And he had to step up and deliver. He had to earn this one. He was up on the outside. He was uncovered there on that move. So he really had to do all that work himself. And we thought it was all Dave Miller all the time. Well, it turns out he is human, guys. He gave it up just late in the lane there with Rock Shining Shining Star. Crooked Smile scores here. A minor upset on the board.
Nice victory, Joey Putnam, the driver, and good to see this guy coming in from Minnesota, Crooked Smile, and getting the victory here. As mentioned, a horse that's been remarkably consistent, Kevin, and it's cool when you see them able to transfer that form to another track.
For sure, Running Aces is the track in Minnesota, and the horse was racing good there. And Joey Putnam's a young driver who's very, very talented, and it's good to see that he won a race tonight.
Crooked Smile with a nice victory, able to run down Rock's Shining Star and David Miller, as Gabe mentioned. He is human, but still been a great night for David Miller coming in for Crooked Smile with the victory. How important is that for a young driver, getting a big win on a night like this?
Oh, for sure. Joey does very good out there in Indiana, but when it's the big card where everyone's watching and stuff, you always want to win a race on a big night like tonight.
Back over at Charlestown in the sixth race, we saw Occasional Moon take them gate to wire. $3.60 winner, much the best under jockey JD Acosta, Tempestivo, and Loco in second and third. The next race will be for the West Virginia breds, going 7 furlongs at Charlestown. There's a look at the field. Treasurer 2-1. I'll take care of it 5-2. We'll talk a little bit more about that race and some more live racing from Harrah's Hoosier Park. After this, stay with us on America's Day at the Races.
Charlton now a quarter mile from Arkansas Derby Glory, and he leads by 4 lengths. Basin continues to run in second. Governor Morris is third. Then to the outside, and Anno Door, final furlong. Left-handed whips for Charlotte, and Charlton is going to run them off their feet and win the Arkansas Derby. We will see you in September, young men.
Wins by 6.5. Charlton, ultra impressive.
Welcome back to America's Day at the Races. So glad to have you with us. And Dan Patch night at Hoosier. And we just saw in the Greg Haston Memorial Crooked Smile with the victory. Joey Putnam, the driver, is standing by with Emily.
Thanks, Acacia, standing by with driver Joey Putnam. And Joey, it's a big night on tap. Dan Patch Night 2023 has to feel good to get that win.
Yeah, our biggest night of the summer for us, our main race, the Dan Patch. So when you can win on a night like tonight, it's a great feeling.
Now, you drove Crooked Smile to a victory for trainer Tim Wilson. A big effort tonight. No stranger to success with this horse, though. You drove him a few back, and he was pretty sharp, too. Obviously, a big effort from this colt tonight.
Yeah, the horse has been razor sharp. I've drove him over the last couple years here and there when I don't have my own, and he's always shows up. But tonight he raced huge, parked every step, and first in, he was really good. So.
You talk about the trip a little bit. Seems like front end speed has been playing pretty favored here. Does that play into your strategy? The horse can leave as fast as any horses I've seen, but the front end speed seemed like the place to be.
Yeah, I mean, I put one on the front earlier and she folded up. And this horse is pretty versatile, so I thought we'd see what it looked like. It didn't go like planned, but he overcame it, so tonight it worked out.
In the next race, you've got Hello Sweetie Boy. How do you feel about your chances in there?
He's in a little tough, but we're going to try to get a check, and we'll see what goes from there.
Well, of course, want to thank you for joining us and wish you the best of luck. Guys, back to you.
Emily, thank you. Good to see young driver Joey Putnam with a big win on Dan Patch night. Like he said, biggest night of the summer for everyone at Harris Hoosier Park. Crooked Smile, $10 winner there. Kevin, a nice effort from this gelding.
Yeah, it was a big effort. First up on this track, and first up's not always the place to be. So Joey did a very good job in the horse race super tonight.
We'll see if Joey can pick up another one with Hello Sweetie Boy coming up in the next. Like you said, trying to get a bit of a check. That's the John Schuster Memorial coming up in race 12, a 1 mile pace as well. Here's a look at the field. Another pretty wide open board. You've got a couple of horses at 5-2 right now. No very short price horses as of yet, Kevin.
Yeah, I like the 6 horse in this race. Scott Zeron picks up the mount for the first time, and I think that's the horse to go. And then Tyler George trains the 5 horse, and he's the high percentage trainer. And David Miller on the 4. And my 3 picks would be the 6, 5, and 4.
Western Era, Scotty Zeron, good to see him in town. As it is Dan Patch nights, you see a lot of big names, a lot of big faces, and we'll see if anything can compare to what we saw last year in the 2022 Dan Patch Stakes.
Bulldog Hanover comes off the turn with the lead, working on a mystery to the inside. Rocky Road Hanover is there on the outside. Also trying to come on wide is Backstreet Shadow. Bulldog Hanover leads into the final 1/8 of a mile, has it by 2 lengths. It's Bulldog Hanover. Bulldog Hanover has won the 29th Dan Patch Stakes.
Bulldog Hanover in the 2022 Dan Patch, was 1-5, and rightfully so, Kevin. What a cool horse, and he just brought so many people, I think, into the sport of harness racing and following him, and he always seemed to deliver.
Yeah, he's a once-in-a-lifetime horse, and hopefully he'll be a great sire. He's a standing stud, and watching him race was just a joy. It was an absolute pleasure to see a horse like that, and his gait was unbelievable. And Dexter said he just paced quarters in 25 seconds effortlessly.
World record holder, just absolutely incredible, so talented, and like you said, a lot of people, crowds coming out to watch him and follow him and see what he was doing on the racetrack. That was last year in the Dan Patch Stakes as Bulldog Hanover got the win. We'll see who adds their name to the history books this evening. Back over at Charlestown, time for race number 7. Here's a look at the field. West Virginia bred allowance, 7 furlongs on the main track. I'm the money man, currently 2-1, taking the blinkers off. On the board right now, Treasurer at 9-2. A little bit of attention from that one as well. We'll talk more about the 7th at Charlestown in a moment, but first back over to Hoosier Park. The John Schuster Memorial coming up in the 12th race. We talked a little bit about it, looking at the field here, and you like Scotty Zeron with the 6 Western Era. What do you like about this one?
Yeah, well, Trace Dietrich had a choice, and he took off the 6 for the 5, but I think that's just loyalty to Tyler George. The horse is very, very competitive every week, and I think Scotty just might be that extra edge the horse needs.
Heading out for the 12th, 4, 5, 6, all taking attention on the board right now. See who can get the right kind of trip and get the job done. Who do you expect to be forward in this race, Kevin?
I think the 4, 5, and 6 are going to leave right. The 1, 2, and 3 are long shots in the race, so I think it just might line up right around the track, 4, 5, 6, unless the 9 leaves from the outside.
2-1 now on the 5 Ultra Image. Trace Dietrich, the driver, as you mentioned, drove Ultra Image and Western Era both last time out, teaming up once again with Tyler George for this one, though. Call to post. Leading the field for the John Schuster Memorial, starting things off with the 1 Granite.
Yeah, a little bit up against it in here. I think it might be a class too high for this horse.
It's 11-1. Here's another bigger price. Joey Putnam looks for another one, though, with Hello Sweet Boy.
Same boat. Inside, a little bit up against it in here, and probably needs a different class.
The 3 Montana Chief went by. That's the 4 BB Lucky Boy.
I would think that David Miller would push out hard with this horse and try to be 1-2 around the track.
Here's the 5 Ultra Image.
Kind of similar thing. They got to be up front tonight, so I would think that they would be pushing hard off the gate.
4, 5, 6, all 5-2. There's Western Era.
Yeah, similar. Scotty Z, you don't want to get away third either, so he might rough this horse up a little bit trying to get him to the front end.
Art It Is.
Just another one. Just think, trying to get a check in this race, just a little tough for him.
Here's Round Here Buzz.
Perry Smith, a very good trainer, been around for a long, long time. Horse has no gate speed at all, so he's going to be at the mercy of the pace also.
Joker Rockwell going by. Here's the 2nd tier, Rockin' Speed.
Rockin' Speed could be one of the best horses in the race, but he may get away way back because he's leaving behind 3 horses. The 1, 2, and 3 don't show no speed, so the 10 and 11 are at the mercy of them.
And Shady Jake to the outside.
Same exact thing. He's leaving behind a horse that doesn't show speed, and I think he's going to get away 7th or 8th in the first turn, and it's going to be impossible.
That's the field for the 12th race. Coming up next, the John Schuster Memorial. 4, 5, 6 on the betting. Look like the logical players in here. Let's head over to Gabe and Emily for more.
Thanks a lot, Acacia. And this one is it's right before Dan Patch time now. I believe we are really boiling down. You can see all the Dan Patch starters here with that 300,000 to change on the line, race 13. But we do have one more to go here, race 12, good field. I know you're very similar to Kevin's thought processes here as well. That really the middle of the pack horses seem to be the key in this one.
Yeah, I think so, very much so, Gabe. Western Era is my top choice in there. I think Scotty Z gets a W here tonight, gets his first win of the night. This horse has been a model of consistency. He's been on the board in 9 of 11. He was lightly raced as a 3-year-old. Irv Miller doesn't oftentimes hold on to a horse for a long period of time, and he held this horse over, and he's, like I said, he's had 11 starts, and he came back to Hoosier Park after racing down in Oak Grove, and that was an eye-popping mile last week, 49-1, and again, Scott Zeron in the bike tonight. I have to believe that they'll be aggressive.
Yeah, you think some of the big-name drivers you come and tell. We've seen Dave Miller have all the success tonight. Scotty Z certainly fits that profile. Emily, there have been $2 million races this season in the sport of harness racing. Scott Zeron, well, he's won both. He won the Pepsi North America Cup up in Toronto. He also just picked up a win last weekend at the $1 million Hambletonian at the Meadowlands. So they don't call him the money man for nothing. That's Scotty Z there in the bike there, rather, with the 6 Western Era. Of course, your top connections here at Hoosier Park with the 5 Ultra Image, as Kevin alluded to. Tyler Georgie, a top trader here at the track. Trace Dietrich, 10 consecutive seasons a leading driver. You get a perfect post here, post 5. And the key is, too, you get a little post relief. This horse has been stuck way out in post 8 and post 9. That's a big thing in the sport of harness racing. Post makes a lot of difference.
It really does. And particularly with a horse like this, he likes to be in the race. He's an aggressive horse, but he likes to be put in the race. And I think this changes the game for him. I think we could see a really big effort from him. Last week, that was a big effort from post 8, particularly. He's off by 11.5 at the first call. So he made up all kinds of ground to go on and win by 2 lengths. Tonight, he draws right to the middle of the pack. He's going to be beside a horse that I like for a little bit here as well. And we talk about David Miller. I don't think we can count out the 4. That's a BB Lucky Boy from the Ryan Bellamy barn, who is also a top conditioner here at Harrah's Hoosier Park. This horse just getting started back at Hoosier Park. He was racing earlier on, qualified, and he's back to Hoosier Park for a 2nd consecutive start. Got absolutely torched to the half last week, 53-3. Just very, very fast, and ultimately paid the price. I actually thought he raced extremely well. Still held on to finish 5th after going to the half in 53-3. So he's a little bit aggressive. It will be interesting to see how David Miller handles him here tonight.
Yeah, I think you've got a few long shots there to the inside. Plus, you've got the 2nd-tier starters here as well. So I think Dave's hand is almost forced.
Yeah.
He's going to need to leave. He's going to need to get some position around some of those long shots. As you mentioned, he had an alibi that last start. Yes, he did tire a little bit late. He finished 5th. He was beating a few lengths, but that was really no fault of his own. As you said, he got just torched making the lead, and sometimes that catches up with you.
Yeah, and, it's kind of interesting because as we've talked about all night long, this is a series, so we had 2 eliminations last week, and those 2 elimination winners are drawing beside each other in the 5 Ultra Image and the 6 Western Era. And they were 2 opposite style races. The Ultra Image race, they went to the half in 56-1, and he was able to close home. And then Western Era was able to take advantage of those fast early fractions. So they draw beside each other tonight, which I think is certainly going to make things interesting. And then, like you said, you've got a few horses in that 2nd tier that will certainly mix things up.
Yeah, and if you're out there part of the way major big action tonight. Business started to heat up. We've got a slew of guaranteed pools here on this card tonight. One starts right here. It's the 50-cent pick four. We have to pick the winner, of course, of 4 consecutive races. That could offer a $30,000 guarantee. So we know that's a big pool here. Starts in the 12th race. And, of course, all eyes after race 12, Emily, they're going to head into race 13 with that feature, Dan Patch.
Yeah, very much so. And you want to kick your pick four ticket off with a winner here. So you got to focus. You got to be in it to win it. So we want you to jump in and, of course, like I said, find your horse here. But this is a nice group of pacers set to go postward. And, I think you could go any number of directions. Worth mentioning, Rockin' Speed is a horse that I used as well. John DeLong will drive this horse for trainer Ken Rucker, who, of course, they'll team up in the very next race with the Little Rocket Man there in the Dan Patch. So maybe looking to go back-to-back here in the 12th and the 13th race. This horse has some serious speed. Last week, post 8, he sat the pocket, finished second. He was just simply second best. But he's a tough horse. He's been on the board in 8 of 17 this season, and he's got his lifetime best taken right here at Hoosier Park.
Yeah, it's just going to be interesting to see from post 10 here. You put 2 in the second tier, numbers 10 and 11. We talk about that morning line favorite for the next race, Charlie May, coming into that Dan Patch. And if you want to know how tough things are going to be on Charlie May, I think you're going to get a preview here, Emily, because when we've got Rockin' Speed there starting behind a couple of horses that don't have an abundance of early speed there from the inside. So watch the 10 Rockin' Speed here. I think it'll help you maybe dictate where Charlie May, what type of assignment he's going to have next race, just how tough it is to be in the second tier behind a couple of horses that just don't have that much early speed.
Yeah, exactly. Like you said, you've got your hand being forced there a little bit as far as your decisions are concerned. I thought it was interesting. You talked to David Miller earlier, though, and he said, the way the track was playing did not affect his strategy. I will say he did keep his cards close.
Yeah, he's a little coy, I think, there sometimes as well. I think Dave knows that there are outlets, there are TVs in the back paddock back there with some of his combatants, so to speak, a little later in that Dan Patch. Dave's as sharp as they come, so I know that he's going to have his eyes on things as we progress here on this card tonight. He's one of the best for a reason, a Hall of Fame career. He's got a big shot here aboard BB Lucky Boy. He'll start from post 4, and that's going to be pretty familiar with him because he's going to come back and start from post 4 in the Dan Patch with Lewis Pearlman.
Yes, we got a lot of similarities. And again, we talked about trends, when you jump on him and you pay attention to those. David Miller is certainly one of those that I think you have to pay attention to. Speaking of paying attention to, we talked to Joey Putnam. He said this horse has a shot in here. Hello, Sweetie Boy from the Kimberly Roth barn. Draws to the inside here. Obviously going to need a trip and need some things to go his way, but he's already got a win on a big night under his belt, so it's certainly not out of the question here.
It comes off a confidence booster there last race. It was a great drive from Joey Putnam in the bike here. We'll see if he can do it from post 2 and go back-to-back with Hello, Sweetie Boy. Would be a major upset. Start of the pick 4 here. The Dan Patch, it's up next. First off, we'll go back upstairs to Michael Chamberlain once more.
They are up. And moving out for the lead is Western Era. Also up quickly, Art It Is. Granite to the inside 3rd, and then BB Lucky Boy is 4th. Rockin' Speed is up into 5th. Then it's Hello Sweetie Boy. Round Here Buzz is up on the outside of Montana Chief. And then next comes Shady Jake. The last 2 are Ultra Image and Joker Rockwell. That opening quarter was 26-1. They're on the back stretch, and it's Western Era in front. BB Lucky Boy is right there, though, and BB Lucky Boy now moves up and takes the lead. Back in 3rd is Art It Is, and then it's a length and a half to Granite. Rockin' Speed racing 5th. Down on the inside is Hello Sweetie Boy. Round Here Buzz is caught to the outside. Then it's Montana Chief with Shady Jake wide. Racing 10th is Ultra Image. 11th and last is Joker Rockwell. Half was 53-1. The second quarter, 27 seconds. And BB Lucky Boy leads it a length and a half. Western Era second by 2. Then Art It Is a further 2.5 back to Granite with Rockin' Speed moving to the outside of that. Head of the stretch, headed for home. 3/4 time, 1:20-2. Blistering pace, and BB Lucky Boy is the leader. Western Era tips out second. 5 lengths back to Art It Is. Rockin' Speed is next. On the far outside, Ultra Image is trying to close, but has a lot of ground to make up. Western Era and BB Lucky Boy are the top 2. Ultra Image coming on the outside 3rd. It is Western Era now ahead in front with BB Lucky Boy. Ultra Image is absolutely flying. Ultra Image from way out of it to win! Western Era was second, then BB Lucky Boy, 1:49-3.
All this talk about a speed bias and absolutely flying late. That's a great way to put it. Ultra Image runs them all down.
Well, they went 3/4 at 120, so you knew they were going to come to a stop there. But the 5-horse come across a bias and went really, really good tonight. So hats out to Trace Dietrich.
BB Lucky Boy was aggressively handled, and you saw Western Era come alongside. It looked like he was going to get the win, and late in the game, big late rally from Ultra Image.
Yeah, those 2 horses got the staggers late. They were really pacing home as slow as they could pace, so the 5 just went right over the top of them.
He came running. Gabe and Emily made it exciting in the end.
You know, it really did, guys. And if you had the favorite there, Ultra Image at 7-5, you had to be ripping your tickets up, so to speak, at the top of the stretch, Emily. But we saw the fastest fraction so far of the night. 26 1/5, 53-1, 3/4 and 120 and change. At some point, those times have to catch up with you. Ultimately, BB Lucky Boy could not withstand the test of time, but it was Ultra Image from way downtown who rallied a big way.
I'm actually quite happy because we've been talking about fireworks, Gabe, and we finally saw him. Didn't want him to make liars out of us, but what an effort there by Ultra Image to get the job done for trainer Tyler George. And honestly, I thought BB Lucky Boy raced wonderful in defeat.
Yeah, he absolutely did. To carve up those type of fractions and live to tell about it and be right there on the line really is incredible. Shows you the way this track is playing, but ultimately, again, just too fast there for BB Lucky Boy. It was Ultra Image who stepped up and delivered, took advantage of that fast early pace. Got it done here, guys, at 7-5, the favorite in race 12.
Got the setup today, guys, at Ultra Image with that big, furious late rally. Trace Dietrich, the driver for Tyler George. Looks like he picked the right one, Kevin.
Yeah, he stayed loyal to Tyler George, but Trace knows what he's doing out there, and he's a very high percentage driver because of that. So hats off to Trace.
That's the 12th at Hoosier. Meanwhile, moments ago, race 8, I believe it was. Race 7 at Charlestown. Here's what happened. Paulus
And they're off to a clean beginning. From the inside, Officer Stone and Treasurer are showing speed. From the outside, there goes I'll Take Care of It and Jazz with Dennis, and they're out now to set the pace. So it is I'll Take Care of It with Jazz with Dennis. Treasurer's up close from third, and then comes Vagabond Virgin racing back in fourth, but they're tightly bunched in that run for the clubhouse turn. Down at the rail, Officer Stone is now right there in the thick of things as well. Far outside, O'Rigsby is moving up as well. Then comes Don't Call Too Early, racing right there in the middle of the pack with Red Hot Toddy to his outside. Officer Stone now back third last. I'm the money man next to last, and the trailer is Adrenaline. They straighten onto the backstretch, opening quarter in 24 seconds flat. The pace, not all that quick here. I'll Take Care of It's in front by a long neck over Jazz with Dennis. Vagabond Virgin sent along from third, and Treasurer is fourth down at the fence. These top 4 have opened up about 7 lengths on the rest of this field. O'Rigsby is next in that next flight, and then comes Don't Call Too Early, I'm the Money Man, sent along now from 7th, and then comes Officer Stone. Red Hot Toddy and Adrenaline, they head around the turn. The opening half in 48 and 1. They're 3/16 from home, and I'll Take Care of It is still in charge. In front by 2, Treasurer now to the attack from second. Jazz with Dennis in a 4 wide, Vagabond Virgin. O'Rigsby and Don't Call Too Early up the fence. I'm the Money Man swings out to the center, but they're all still chasing. I'll Take Care of It with a 16th left to go. Treasurer trying to grind away. It's I'll Take Care of It from Treasurer. I'll Take Care of It scores by a length and a half in the end from Treasurer. I'm the Money Man got going too late to be in a photo with the minors there for O'Rigsby and Vagabond Virgin.
I'll Take Care of It. He took care of it. 3-year-old gelding by Juba gets the win over the number 2, Treasurer.
Yeah, the 2 was my pick in that race. I thought the jockey went back to win with him the last time, and he raced good, but the 8 horse was just better than him tonight.
3-1 winner, I'll Take Care of It. Returns $8, 823 formful. Race 7 at Charlestown. In the 8th race, it's a West Virginia bred claiming race for the fillies at Charlestown. But first, we head back over to Paris Hoosier Park as we head over to Emily with a special guest.
Thanks, Acacia. Standing by with winning connections of Ultra Image, a winner of the John Schuster Memorial. Trainer Tyler George. Tyler, what an effort there. Obviously, this horse raced big last week, but that was an effort that I thought was pretty impressive.
Yeah, the race set up good for him. It's the right class, and he got there.
Now, we've seen some versatility from him. You know, he has shown that he can step off the gate, but he obviously likes to come from off the pace. Would you say that's his best style?
When they race like that, yeah, and he hates the 5-hole, so he wasn't going to be going forward tonight.
Talk to us a little bit about the horse. Like you said, he fits the condition, but he looks like he's just a pretty honest horse who likes his job. But talk to us a little bit about Ultra Image.
He is just an A-plus horse. He doesn't do anything wrong. He just brings his A game all the time. He gives it his all. If he can get there, he can. If he can't, he won't. You know.
Big night like Dan Patch night had to feel good to get that win.
Oh yeah, it was exciting. The owners are here and they're excited, and he deserved it. It was a good day.
Well, congratulations to you. We'll talk to leading driver Trace Dietrich. Talk to Tyler a little bit. Looked like the front end speed was holding up, but you of course changed up the tactics, and the horse showed up to race from off the pace.
Yeah, for some reason the big colt don't like the 5-hole right behind the car, so we're at a a deficit right off the bat. But luckily, the pace was really hot. And he likes to get home, and like mid-stretch, like, we might not be able to reach, maybe third, but just glad it's a mile race, not 50 yards shorter.
You talked about the long stretch. Obviously, you knew the horse had pace coming home, but turning for home, did you think he had what it takes to get the job done?
Well, I hope so, just if there's enough time left. We're off, seemed like 20 lengths, but it might only been 10. But it seemed like we're a long way back. But, the big colt, he dug in game and paced all the way to the wire.
And, of course, that's the big one. Right before the big one, the Dan Patch Stakes, of course, you'll be driving. This is the plan going into it. How do you feel about your chances here with this Ron Burke trainee?
I think we need a little luck. I think the horse has a lot of ability. If things just play our way a little bit. I think he can be there at the end to be very effective.
It appears to me you've got your lucky charm here, Chloe Dietrich, daughter of Trace Dietrich. Chloe, do you think Dad's going to win this next race?
Yes. Say yes. Say yes.
I think that's a yes, guys. Back to you.
She nodded. We'll take it as a yes, Emily. Congratulations to Trace and the whole team involved with Ultra Image with that big late rally to get the win here, Kevin.
Yeah, that horse race very, very good and for good connection, so I'm very happy for them.
$4.80 winner, who's 7-5. Logical horses, who said 4-5-6. It went 5-6-4 in the 12th. And now it's time for the big one, the Dan Patch Stakes, coming up next. This 1 mile pace, the feature of the evening that we've been looking forward to. A buck bet Hanover, 5-2 right now from that 8-1 morning line. What do you make about that? All the money he's taking.
Yeah, this is a really, really good horse. This horse sold public auction last year for $535,000, and I was bidding on him. He's a really good horse. The last start there when he got beat 40 lengths, it was just a suicide mission. He tried to retake on a horse that ain't going to let him go. But if the race sets up, this horse can definitely win the race. I'm just afraid that he's going to get away too far back.
Has already made over $1 million. A buck bet Hanover, or go from the rail. Scotty Zirin, the driver. We'll talk a little bit more about his chances and the rest of the field in the Dan Patch Stakes coming up after this. Time for the big one on the other side of this break on America's Day at the Races.
Purple Haze Standardbred Adoption Program in Oxford, New York was created in 2018 by Wanda Palacini to provide training to transition for finding homes and new careers for horses. Horses are started with groundwork and then ridden in an arena before moving on. Horses at Purple Haze are then evaluated and adopted out based on abilities and temperament. If you have a horse that you care about, or if you're looking for a great pleasure horse, contact Purple Haze Standardbred Adoption Program at 518-669-2715.
Experience the adrenaline-pumping, suspense-filled action of the Sport of Kings no matter where you are with Naira Bets. It's fast, easy, and secure. Download the app today and start winning with our lucrative weekly promotions, thrilling handicapping contests, and a one-of-a-kind VIP rewards program. Don't just watch horse racing, be a part of the action with Naira Bets.
The best bet for your dollar is Massachusetts Thoroughbred Breeding Program.
I honestly believe it's the best program in the country, and it's probably the best kept secret.
The incentives in this program are awarded to any mass bred running anywhere in the country. Bonuses for owners, breeders, developers, stallion owners. You get those percentages no matter where that horse is running.
This is a great program. Everything about it.
There's a big, bold, beautiful world waiting to be explored by you and your friends, of course. But not just any friends, the best of friends. The kind of friends who let you do you. Because in this world, it's positive vibes only. And when you get in the zone here, you stay a while. These aren't just good times, they're the best of times. And your time is now. So come explore. Resorts World.
Wiggle it, jiggle it, still waiting. It ducks down to the inside. They've less than an eighth of a mile to go. Always be Mickey. Wiggle it, jiggle it to the inside. To the outside comes Melmara. One is Duval. All bets off to the wire. Wiggle it, jiggle it wins the Dan Patch.
Wiggle it, jiggle it in the 2016 Dan Patch as we look back at some of the big winners in history of this race. And Wiggle it, jiggle it, on top of having a really fun name, Kevin, he was a legend in the sport.
Oh, he was a great horse. George Teague trained him. He did great for the sport. They brought that horse all around the country, even when he wasn't racing, just for people to see him. And his son Montrell, who was a young kid at the time, 18 years old, 19 years old, drove that horse everywhere. He did a spot-on great job, and Wiggle It Jiggle was a great horse.
Yeah, really fun to get a chance to follow that horse, and he brought a lot of headlines and got a lot of fans throughout his career. Time for this year's Dan Patch Stakes 1 mile pace. There's a look at the field. We talked a little bit before about a buck a bet. Hanover, Charlie May, 3-1, just like his morning line was. And the conversation that we've been having, Kevin, is what kind of trip is he going to pull from that second tier?
Yeah, Charlie May, he's the best horse in the race, and I believe that. But it's going to be tough getting involved in the race. It's just going to be, like I said all night, how far back is he going to be? And the good news is that a buck a bet Hanover is going to pull. When he pulls, Charlie May is going to be right on his back, so it's going to give him live cover. So both those horses are racing to win, so you know they're going to be given chances.
And it looks like Brett Miller made it there, which is good news.
Brett, he was in the last race, yes, for sure.
As you heard from Gabe, driving in Ohio a little bit earlier, coming over to, well, we have a special guest here with Gabe. We'll check in with him.
Thanks a lot, Acacia. Yes, I'm standing by with a special guest. It's driver James McDonald. He's got the current favorite, Line Drive Hanover, who you see right behind us here. James, I'm sure you wouldn't want to trade places with anybody going into this race.
No, I'm really high on my horse. He's been come back great this year. Tony's done a great job with him, having him good and sound, and he's performed well every time he's gone behind the gate, and I expect the same again tonight. You
aren't kidding. He's been a model of consistency. In fact, all 5 of the board this year, 16 of 17 last year. I know you had to hook up with Bulldog Hanover even a couple of times as well.
Yeah, I chased Bulldog a couple times at the Meadowlands. We got the best of him on a half at Flamborough early in the year, but before he kind of went on a real heater. But yeah, Line Drive's a great horse. He's got really versatile speed. He can do it anyway, so that's going to be a big factor tonight.
Now, James, you're the top driver up in Canada, Woodbine at Mohawk Park. You're here at Hoosier Park for the first time, I believe. What are your initial thoughts here about the track at Hoosier? I know it's the same size track. What do you think about the way it's playing and your first visit here?
Oh, I'm loving it. The track crew's done a great job. It's in just perfect shape. So the horses, I think, really like it, and they really respond well to it. It's a little tighter turns than I think the Mohawk, but big long stretch to do a lot of damage. So hopefully we can have him in a good spot to do some.
All right, James, best of luck. He's got Line Drive Hanover, again, the current favorite. He's been on the board all 5. He's right behind us here. He'll be headed to the track guy shortly. The Dan Patch, it's up next.
Can't wait, Gabe. Thank you. James McDonald, the driver of Line Drive Hanover, will look to turn the tables, Kevin, on Charlie May.
Yeah, Line Drive Hanover is definitely the speed of the race the more you look at it. So he's going to get the jump on Charlie May, and he is a very, very good horse, Line Drive Hanover. So he can be definitely the horse to beat in this race with the speed.
We'll take a quick time out. When we come back, more discussion of Dan Patch Stakes, and we'll see who gets the win after this.
Catholic Boy, a Grade 1 winner on both dirt and turf, including this romp in the Run Happy Travers Stakes.
He's so impressive today, the others didn't even have a prayer!
This 6-time graded stakes winner was the fastest 3-year-old of his crop over 10 furlongs. Now his first runners are hitting the track. Dual Surface Grade 1 winner Catholic Boy, standing at Claiborne Farm.
Welcome back to America's Day at the Races. As we're getting closer and closer to the time for the Dan Patch Stakes as we take a look at the field once again. Why is this such an important race in harness racing, Kevin?
You know, the name Dan Patch was a great horse. It's part of the Grand Circuit that goes around the country, and it's a race like when you race the top stakes horses that I've had over the years. You look at this race as one of the races to go to. But these horses are really tough. Last Saturday, they raced Saturday afternoon. They go back to the farm Saturday, Sunday. Sunday, Monday, they ship 12 hours out to Indiana. They go into the detention barn last week, a detention barn this week, and they're back racing. They're tough, tough animals to go through all this.
As Gabe and Emily were touching on earlier, especially if you're somebody that maybe watches thoroughbred racing with us regularly, it could almost be a little bit surprising to see how frequently these horses run. But that's how the harness horses do it, and they can take a lot, they come back frequently, and it's one of the nice things about the sport too is that you really get to see your favorite horse run quite often. Yeah, my longtime owner Fran Azor used to always tell me they only work 2 minutes a week. Why can't they race every week? And the truth of the matter is, you know, most horses do race 40 times a week. I mean, the breakdown on horses is very, very few in our sport, and you know, if it is, it's bow tendons or suspensories, and you know, they're just a real strong animal. Incredible athletes as well, and as you said, shipping into Indiana, Hoosier Park here for the Dan Patch Stakes, an elite race. And there's a look at your current favorite. I believe that's the 6, yep. Right? Yeah, no, that's the 5. Sorry, Southwind Gentry, big price, but the 6 Line Drive Hanover currently your favorite. We heard moments ago from James McDonald as we are starting to get set. One more quick time out, a few minutes away from this year's Dan Patch.
Ever dream of owning your own racehorse? How would you like to get in the winner's circle with the #1 harness racing partnership in the U.S., VIP Stable? There's nothing like the thrill of your horse coming down the stretch. To find out more, call VIP Stable at 877-VIP-WIN-1 or visit us on the web at www.vipstable.com. Turning horse racing fans into racehorse owners. Be a winner.
RaceLens is the most in-depth product in horse racing with unique features found nowhere else. True odds, predictive analysis, and pace projection. RaceLens. It will change the way you follow horse racing and take your game to the next level.
The Cross Country Pick 5 combines the best racing from New York with top races from around the country in one bet. Find it in your track menu and play this weekend. Races and free PPs posted at NYRA.com/crosscountry.
Harness Racing's World Championship event, valued at $7 million, returns to Harrah's Hoosier Park Racing and Casino for 2 extraordinary nights of racing. Join us Friday, October 27th and Saturday, October 28th, 2023 for the 40th edition of the Breeders' Crown. In harness racing, it all comes down to the crown.
Racetrack Television Network brings you every race, from every track, on every screen, every day. With monthly packages starting as low as $5, RTN gives you great value and access to more live HD streaming and race replays than anyone. Visit RTN.tv today to sign up and watch on almost any device, including Roku and Amazon Fire. RTN has packages that start at $5 per month.
We're back on America's Day at the Races. Glad to have you with us as we're getting ready for the Dan Patch Stakes. A buck-a-bet Hanover to the rail, taking quite a bit of attention as we head over to Emily, standing by with trainer Andrew Harris.
Thanks, Acacia, standing by with the trainer Andrew Harris. He trains the one a buck-a-bet Hanover. Andrew, this horse coming into the Dan Patch after a brutal effort in the William Houghton, but obviously the horse has just got explosive speed. But talk to us a little bit about how he's coming into this race tonight.
You know what? He's prepped in good. He's come back good. He qualified great. I was super happy with him. We gave him a little bit of time off after that race. It's not usually his style. He used I think it was 25-4 second quarter. It was just that was his move right there. And it just and then Andrew did the right thing and just kind of put the bit back in his mouth and just let him cross the wire, just under control. But he's come into this race real good. He's prepped right. And we had started the year out great, so it was just one kink there, and hopefully we rebound tonight and hopefully move forward from there.
Yeah, certainly so. He draws the rail here. I have to believe that you were pretty happy when the draw comes out, but talk to us a little bit about that and maybe his strategy going in.
I'm always nervous about the rail here when you got trailers. I mean, you never know if these Burke horses leave out and stuff like that. You could get stuck on the rail, so it's a dangerous spot too. So I think that the 5-6 would have probably been the best draw of the field. But I'm happy with the rail because it means we're probably not going to be parked out. So after being parked out the last two, I'd rather be on the rail.
Now you come to Hoosier Park. Obviously, he's raced here before, but we're racing out of the front paddock. How do you feel he's taking that all in? Does that affect him at all, or is he doing okay with all of that?
He's usually a high-energy horse, but he handled it with grace. We put the earplugs in him so he couldn't hear as much, but when the horses were racing there, he was definitely watching them intently. So, but it seemed like maybe it sharpened him up a little bit.
All right, very much so. Of course, hoping for a great effort from a buck up at Hanover. My pick in the 2023 Dan Patch Stakes. Back to you guys.
Emily, thank you. Call to post. And right on cue, there he is, a buck about Hanover. I thought some really good insight from his trainer, Andrew Harris, about the kind of trip and the type of horse that he is, Kevin.
Yeah, I actually talked to Andrew this afternoon, and exactly what he just said. The horse had a great week, and it's just how far back is he going to get, because he's not a fast horse out of the gate.
See what kind of trip he can pull from that inside draw. Right next to him, there's the number 2. Tell me about it, Big Price.
This is a local horse. He's a very good horse, but you're stepping up against the best horses in the country here, so it's a tough spot for him.
See if he can compete with some of the top quality horses that he's going up against tonight in this salty field for the Dan Patch. There's another look at your favorite, or I should say, co-favorite, a buck up at Hanover. It's now between him and Line Drive Hanover. 7-2 on Charlie May to the outside. Do you think some concerns perhaps with the trip Charlie May might pull is making him be a little bit of a longer price than we might have anticipated?
Yeah, you know what? If the 1's taking money, the 10 should take money because he's going to be follow him. But that's probably why, because it's a second tier and it's a very, very tough spot.
See how he can navigate that trip. There's another look at that number 2. This is the plan, or excuse me, tell me about it. There's the 3. This is the plan.
You know, Timmy Tetrick was originally listed on this horse, and he's a great horse. This horse made a couple $1 million or $1 million, and he's just not on his game right now. And for Timmy to stay home, that kind of tells me enough right there.
Lou's Pearlman is coming up next. We heard some insight from driver David Miller about this horse earlier.
When I talked to David this afternoon, I actually think I convinced him in leaving with this horse tonight because I told him there's no inside speed and Buck Bet's not going to get away too good. So I'm going to think that David's going to blast in here. That's going to be my thought.
6-1 on Lou's Pearlman. David already having a very good night over at Hoosier today. See if he's aggressive early. We know he was listening to you and some of that great insight. And you've had some great picks tonight too, Kevin. There's a look at the 5, Southwind Gendry.
Well, they call him Big Money Bates, but he's going to have to step up his game here. This is another horse of Ronnie Burke's that made $1 million. These horses are getting a little bit older in age, and it looks like they just lost a little bit.
See if we can find some of that good form that he had previously. Big Price on the board. As next we'll check in with the 6 Line Drive Hanover. We heard from driver James McDonald a little earlier with Gabe.
Yeah, this is one of the fastest horses you'll see leave the gate, and James McDonald is just sensation as a driver. He's in Canada and he's happy up there, but he'd probably fit right in at the Meadowlands. He's a great driver.
He will be piloting this one, Line Drive Hanover. See if he can use that speed to his advantage tonight. Has a lot of early foot, and we'll see if he can take them potentially every step of the way. 5-2 on that one, as the favoritism has now shifted over to a buck up at Hanover. There is the number 7, Captain Kirk, long shot.
Yeah, he's not in the post parade. That's the
gotcha.
the 8 horse.
That's the 8.
This is a really, really good horse. He paces 47, 48, but he has no gate speed at all. Ken Rucker trains him. I think he's going to be way back tonight. Early on, I'm sorry.
Little Rocket Man, 5-1. John DeLong going to be the driver with that one. We talked about him a little bit earlier. local horse to see if he can potentially make a little noise in here, but does have to overcome a trip. As you mentioned, 5-1 on this one right now, as he's stepping away in the post parade. Here's the number 9, A Big Price. Which way to the beach? I'd like to know too.
This is a Gino Toscani owned horse. Longest shot on the board and kind of up against it here.
Big Price right now. Next will be Charlie May. He has a world of talent, won the Houghton 2 back. The big question is, what kind of trip is he going to get today?
Yeah, he's going to have to work out a trip from where he gets away. But when I was talking to Timmy Tetrick, Timmy said that this is the horse to win the race because he knows how to win races. He just loves to win.
Yeah, he's been pretty impressive. 1.8 million in the bank so far. And here's the 11th, Honda Warrior.
This is a local sensation, this horse, and he made his first start back of the year last week, and he went in 49. He's a very good horse, but once again, stepping up against these great horses, it gets a little tough.
And there's the 7, Captain Kirk.
Captain Kirk is taking up the field here. He's another one, Indiana bred, just Todd Luther trains him. It's just a very, very tough race for him.
That's the field for the Dan Patch Stakes. There's a look at Charlie May getting a good warm-up out there. As Gabe and Emily, it's time for the big one who we've all been waiting for.
Yeah, it's showtime, Acacia. We're so excited here on track. The buzz is building, so to speak. Yeah, but if there's one note from the front paddock here, these are your consummate professional racehorses. I mean, this is a field with right at $12 million in combined earnings. So, yeah, some of the true superstars of the sport. It's just another day at the office for these guys. We had quite a crowd there building around that front paddock. Everyone all business in that paddock.
Yeah, you know, they say good horses do good things, and that's exactly what we saw there. You know, just acting like true professionals in every sense of the word. I think the connections were maybe a little more worked up than some of the horses. There were a few drivers scrambling to find their bikes and things like that. But yes, it's always good to see, you know, these horses relax and take in the sights and of course, sounds of the front paddock. That can sometimes rattle some of these horses. So it's something that, you know, you certainly want to take into consideration. But as you said, all of them look like they handled it like true professionals.
Yeah, one of the things Andrew Harris alluded to, because he had a post one with the Buckabat Hanover, which, by the way, stalled one right beside the track. He said when that race went by before, a Buckabat Hanover definitely heard those horses in gear. That woke him up. The bettors have been woke up to him for quite a while, though. No, 2-1 on the board. Did you expect all this total attention on a Buckabat Hanover?
I did not, Gabe. You know, it's actually why I went to him. You know, we typically see prices when it comes to the Dan Patch. Some crazy things have happened. So I wanted to shop for a little bit of a price. And like you said, I'm a little surprised to see 2-1 on a Buckabat. As we talked about, I really like this horse in this spot. I think aside from that last start out, he's been coming into this race. He's in perfect form for the season. And, you know, I just think the racing style, his racing strategy sets up so nicely for this race.
Yeah, and if you thought those fractions were quick last race, which they were, 53 to the half there, you know, we could see even more here in this race. I mean, there's so much speed. You could put 2 horses in the second tier. So really anybody on the outside, if you want any shot at this thing, you almost have to leave out and give yourself a chance in some early position. I think one of those horses that's going to be on the move early, Line Drive Hanover. We caught up with James McDonald there, his driver, visiting Hoosier Park for the first time. I don't think he'd want to sit behind anyone else here than Line Drive Hanover. He's taking a lot of play up there, 2-1. He does have good tactical speed. So consistent, Emily. 5 starts this year on the board, all 5. Last year, 16 of 17 on the board. A perfect post here to deploy that early speed.
Yeah, very much so. And he is one of 2 horses. We talked about Bulldog Hanover a little earlier on in the program. He's only one of 2 horses to defeat the Bulldog last year in that Juravinsky final. So the horse lightly raced for the season. I think he's just getting rolling. Like you said, talked about sending him out there. Last week we saw him on the front. That was a gallant effort to finish second. And like you said, James McDonald, I don't think he came to play. I think it's going to be all systems go.
Do you think sometimes this late in the season that it helps maybe a horse not to be raced as hard time after time after time when you've got a horse that's a little more fresh like the 6 in here, Line Drive Hanover?
Yeah, certainly so. I mean, it played into my handicapping. Much the same story for a Buckabat Hanover. You know, he's been lightly raced. I think he's sitting on a big effort. You know, versus you've got a few of these other horses, a Little Rocket Man, 16 starts on the season, a winner of 12 of those. Of course, no horse in the field has any more wins over the Hoosier Park surface than the 8, a Little Rocket Man. He's had 12 wins this season, 40 lifetime wins over the Hoosier Park surface, and $660,000. He, of course, finished 4th in this event in 2021 and 5th last year.
Yeah, and just amazing. 40 wins over this track. You know, he's a hometown rooting interest here, and he has proven that he can step up and go with the very best horses in North America, so it's not going to shock any of us to see that. He'll have his work cut out from post 8 there, 6-1, I think, on the board right now. What about the horse that's a morning line favorite? That's number 10, Charlie May. You know, I think he's up there at 7-2 right now. some of the concern there has to be that second-tier starting spot that we've kept talking about here all night long.
Yeah, very much so, Gabe. You know, we've seen this horse forwardly placed, although he did draw to the outside in that Houghton, stepped out of there, got a nice pocket spot, and just absolutely came flying late. He's been ultra consistent, and, of course, Brett Miller, no stranger to success. He won this race with J.K. Indivenera.
Guys, buckle your seatbelts. The 30th Dan Patch is right now $310,000 on the line. Michael Chamberlain has the call of the feature at Hoosier Park.
They are off in the 30th Dan Patch Stakes. And it is a good beginning for a bucket bet Hanover at the inside. There goes Luz Pearlman to be part of the fray with Line Drive Hanover up on the outside. This is the plan is next. Charlie May got away very well from the second tier and is fifth down on the inside. Then next is Tell Me About It. Little Rocket Man settles in mid-pack. Ponda Warrior is racing eighth. Next in ninth is Southwind Gendry. And then 10th is Captain Kirk. The trailer is Which Way to the Beach following a first quarter of 26-1. And the lead will change hands as Line Drive Hanover goes up to take it, but a bucket bet Hanover moves to the outside and is moving at that leader immediately. Now back to third is Luz Pearlman, and moving up on the outside, Charlie May. Then to the inside is This Is the Plan as they flash by the half in 53-1. The second quarter was 27 seconds. It is a bucket bet Hanover a length. Line Drive Hanover second. Charlie May is moving up on the outside third. And then to the inside is Luz Pearlman. Tell Me About It is second over. And then moving next are This Is the Plan and Little Rocket Man with Ponda Warrior as they come to the top of the towering Hoosier Park stretch. 3/4, 1:20-3. A sizzling pace. A bucket bet Hanover. Charlie May on the outside. Line Drive Hanover is down at the inside third. Little Rocket Man trying to put in a belated bid, and Ponda Warrior's trying to fire a big finish. Charlie May and a bucket bet Hanover. Here comes Ponda Warrior on the outside. Ponda Warrior, one start since November, and he wins the richest race in Indiana in 1:48 flat. It's a three-way photo for second. A bucket bet Hanover, Charlie May, and Little Rocket Man. Absolutely sensational. Ponda Warrior and Kyle Wilfong have won the Dan Patch Stakes.
Ponda Warrior at 17-1 pulls the upset. He gets the pace set up here, Kevin, and has to be really special. An Indiana bred winning the Dan Patch Stakes.
Wow, for a boy like Kyle Wilfong to win a big race like this, it's a dream come true for him. Believe me, he's a very nice young driver, and I'm so happy for him and the Hochstettlers who won this race. They're great, great people.
It looked like Charlie May and a bucket bet Hanover, the two kind of big dogs in this race, so to speak, were putting on a show, and they were, but a bucket bet Hanover, he was sharp early, much more than we might have anticipated, and eventually that pace seemed to do him in.
Yeah, the problem with Bucket Bet is he's a great horse from off the pace, and I think he raced great, but putting him on the front end tonight is probably something he doesn't really like to do. He probably likes chasing down horses a lot better. They both race great. They only can go so much.
Ponda Warrior with the win. Gabe and Emily pulling the upset, and again, a very special win for this team.
You know, it really was Acacia. We just saw trainer Jay Hochstetler, one of the sport's bright and upcoming stars. He's all smiles getting off the trailer there from the back. And Emily, what about Kyle Wilfong here? He's based in the driving colony. I'm not sure he's ever started the Dan Patch Stakes before. And he picks up this drive. John DeLong was listed. He opted off for the local sensation Little Rocket Man. Well, Kyle was in the right spot at the right time, and he came from Nowheresville here to win this race. I believe he was 10th, turning for home.
Gabe, it was tears from everyone in the winner's circle. You know, Kyle Wilfong's wife, Nicole, his parents, of course, stabled around here as well. So local connections, local feel, and just a great, great feeling. Like you said, hats off to Kyle Wilfong. Stepped up, both Kyle Wilfong and trainer Jay Hochstetler making their debut in the Dan Patch with, of course, Ponda Warrior after that huge effort last week.
Yeah, an Indiana bred horse here taking the Dan Patch Stakes. It's always a tough transition, Emily, from 3 to 4. Now, this guy was a standout. It's not like he came from nowhere. As a 2- and 3-year-old here in Indiana, this guy was very, very good. He had earned earned over $470,000 here, 2 and 3, but it's a tough transition at the age of 4. But he's now 2 for 2 with this big win tonight.
He really is. You know, showed that he could go with the big dogs last year as he finished 5th in the Breeders' Crown final. Trainer Jay Hostetler saying that he was off to a little bit of a slow start, but certainly made amends as of late.
All right, we'll send it to you guys back in the studio. We'll have some happy wedding connections here trackside momentarily.
What a cool story, guys. It's so great to see. Big congratulations to the connections of Ponda Warrior. More on that in a moment. Moments ago, here's race 8 from Charlestown.
In the nightcap at Charlestown. A good beginning for Cowgirl Attitude, who heads right out to the front. Cat with an Ocean comes to take her on, and these two open up by 2.5 on Patty Blue Eyes back in 3rd. Ellie's at Windsor is 4th down at the rail. Far outside, Power Sond is 5th, racing just in front of Warrior in the House. Another gap of 2 to It's a Real Honor. I Shall Be Released is next, and the trailer is Abundant Story racing about a dozen lengths off of the leader up top here, and that is Cat with an Ocean. Opening quarter in 22 and 1. Now Cowgirl Attitude back to engage, and Patty Blue Eyes is putting in a 3-wide bid as they head around the turn. So Cowgirl Attitude is back in front with a furlong left to run. Cowgirl Attitude opens up on a 5-length lead here from Patty Blue Eyes. Out in the center, Power Sond, and then comes Ellie's at Windsor, 16th pole, and it's Cowgirl Attitude. Cowgirl Attitude. Impressively here by 4.5 lengths over Ellie's at Windsor. And then a blanket photo with Power Sond among runners with It's a Real Honor.
Cowgirl Attitude gets the win in the nightcap at Charlestown, first off the claim. And we head back over to Hoosier as Gabe promised us some happy connections in the winner's circle. What do you got, Gabe?
Yeah, I don't even know if happy is the right word here, Keisha. I've got trainer Jay Hochstetler with me. And, Jay, take us through this race. Ponda Warrior, you know, this has to be so special for you. You broke this guy as a yearling. You've had him his entire career. What a win here tonight.
Yeah, I mean, this is what dreams are made of. This is what I've been hoping for my whole life. And, you know, to do it with a horse that I've had so much confidence in since I picked him out at the sale. They don't make nights like this much other ways.
Yeah, and it's an incredible night here. I believe over $600,000 out his bankroll. You bought him for about $30,000, I believe, as a yearling. You've done an exceptional job with him. What were your thoughts when he was so far back tonight, turning for home?
You know, I thought we'd get a check. I said he's following a good horse. He can get home really hard if you don't use him early. And then he just kept gaining, and I know when you can get him in the shouting distance somebody, he'll catch him. He loves the race.
All right, congratulations, Jay Hochstetler, trader, Ponda Warrior, guys, upset winner, huge upset in the Dan Pat Stakes here at 17-1.
A night they won't soon forget, Gabe. Thank you, Ponda Warrior, with the victory. You could just almost feel the emotions, Kevin, radiating off Jay. Really, really special night.
It's really good to see a small-time guy win a big race. It's really good.
Very special victory for Ponda Warrior, as that'll do it for the live racing action. Great job tonight, Kevin. Really excited to have you on the desk, and some really big moments we saw tonight.
Lesson learned, don't take cold medicine when you're doing the show. I was sick all day, and I took cold medicine, and I'm kind of knocked out, so I apologize for my performance.
No, you've done a great job, and some great picks, too. But for winning driver Kyle Wilfong, special moment, too, and he's standing by with Emily.
Thanks, Acacia. We could not leave out driver Kyle Wilfong. Kyle, I had tears in my eyes for this win for you. That had to be pretty special.
That was incredible. I can't put it into words. That was the greatest feeling of my life. It was awesome.
That's what dreams are made of, like you said. And so, you know, you were last. It looked like you were far back, but did you think you had enough to get to the wire?
Yeah, he's a really nice horse. He just little bum luck. He's only had one start this year, and he raced huge in it. We knew we had a really good chance going into this.
Well, a really good chance you did have. Go celebrate that win, Kyle. Back to you guys.
Emily, thank you. $36.60 winner over the big and accomplished horses Charlie May and a Buckabat Hanover. Ponda Warrior pulls the upset in the Dan Patch Stakes. Big thanks to Gabe and Emily for doing a terrific job and hustling over there at Hoosier tonight. We really appreciate them and all of their insight, and appreciate your insight as well, Kevin, and hope everybody will join. I know you're going to be really involved. Flavian Pratt, the red jockey, Beckworth versus Pratt in that charity match race.
Yeah, I'm really excited. It's going to be a great night. But before we get off the air, I want to congratulate my daughter, Caitlin, who became a doctor today. She graduated from college, and I had to mention it before we got off the air.
That's wonderful. Big congratulations to Caitlin. Wonderful to see the family being so successful. Thank you so much for joining us tonight on America's Day, or evening, at the races, as it was Ponda Warrior successful, pulling the upset, a special victory for the local connections in the Dan Patch Stakes. We'll see you tomorrow on Saratoga Live. We're on FS1 from 1 to 3, then on Big Fox from 3 to 6 for Fox Saratoga Saturday, and then wrap up the day on FS1 as well from 6 to 7. Be sure to check your local listings. Big thanks to Charlestown and Harrah's Hoosier Park. Good night, everyone.